What game do I want to play while I debate?
You ready to get your shit pushed in, boy?
What?
Good luck with that.
I'm gonna push that shit in, boy.
See, we were just joking around, making the "Why are you gay?" comments, and then I joked and said Tyler is definitely gay, and then you come in saying this shit.
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay. Oh no, that's gonna be that picture for tonight.
There's these two African dudes that do shit on Instagram. I don't know where they're from. I just see it randomly. And it's like they're asking like these silly but still profound sounding questions. If
We'll join you gentlemen in just a few moments. I am trying to get the new guy set up with virtual cam, so I'll be right with you.
If a deaf man loses a finger,
Okay.
is it a speech impediment or an accent?
Oh God.
Speech impediment.
Okay.
Hi.
That is a very ironic photo. Okay.
Thank you.
But I feel like you did that on purpose.
Never.
I forgot how to play session for a moment. I logged into SessionScape instead of Scape, and then I completely forgot how to play for a moment.
Rip.
$250. Definitely not worth it. Holy shit.
What's $250?
This statue.
Where is it? A door?
Awesome. How do I turn that on again?
Button.
Yeah, that's how I thought you did that trick. Okay.
So has IKEA just always been fucking expensive, or is this like a recent development?
Yes.
Okay.
Depends on where you are.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't want to be this guy, but whoever's playing that, I'm automatically rolling against you now, just for like consistently blasting this in our ears. Okay.
Thank you, Kay.
Okay, well, saying thank you to me means I'm rolling against you now. So.
But the two people you were rolling against are the two people that are debating against each other.
I'm sorry. Were you hearing background noise from me or?
Yeah, it's from yours.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It wasn't being picked up on my thing, so I didn't think it could actually be heard.
See, I was looking at this sectional couch from IKEA. It's the 3-seat sleeper sectional, the Skiftable dark gray, $999. When I talked to my aunt, she said she bought it for like $500 not too long ago. What's our tariffs?
What's our tariffs against Sweden? Hold on.
Yeah, that's what I was about to see. What are the tariffs on Sweden? 10 to
What are our
15%.
tariffs against Sweden?
Apparently it's 10 to 15% across the board. What the fuck? Then why the fuck did the couch go from like $550 to $999? Jesus Christ.
Capitalism.
True.
True.
Hey, Rufus, I want you to. Have you heard of the dynamic pricing that PlayStation is rolling out?
No.
Okay.
You can
So
get fucked for that.
yeah. So this ruins the idea of supply and demand, right? Because technically they have an infinite supply of fucking digital copies of a game, yet they're going to be raising the price on some customers and lowering the price on others, which we know is going to be more for more people.
Well, Kay, here's the thing. Those are intellectual property.
It is fucking intellectual property, I know.
So regardless,
Well, you know how that's probably gonna work. They're probably gonna make people without PlayStation Plus pay more.
Maybe that might be it. I mean, like, it's so stupid, but like the way that it looks like it's gonna roll out is that if you play a game a lot, you're going to be charged more for playing the game when the next game comes out, because you're more likely, like, let's say that you platinum to all the God of War games and the new God of War game comes out. It looks like the system is designed to make the pricing more expensive for you. Or if it's like the launch week of a video game, to bump up the price of a game by like 20% during launch week, because the people that are going to buy it first day or first week are most likely going to shill out like a certain percentage like increase on price and then lower it like off peak hours, quote unquote. This is fucking awful.
PlayStation's just trying to go broke. Yeah, PlayStation's just trying to go broke. I mean, Xbox is already beating them in every category except for fucking single player games.
True. I don't agree with a lot of the people that are like, Xbox is shooting themselves in the foot, they're gonna kill their like platform. It's like, no, it's just they had a horrible like way of like communicating to the people what they're doing. They have a lot of room to like risk and be okay like risking. Video game consoles aren't even in their like top 5 like revenue gross revenue, like, what is it, gross products. So they're fine. And not only that, but now that like Steam and Xbox have their partnership, that's gonna like bring in a lot of money. And since fucking computers are so expensive, no matter what Xbox prices their next console, they're going to like capture whatever they lose in the console market to Nintendo and Sony. They're gonna make up in the PC market for people that want easy pre-builds. The people who are gonna suffer are like iBuyPower and people like that, because they're not gonna be able to compete with Xbox putting out a PC.
Yeah.
They're actually doing good long term if they pull it off.
Glad. So I was upgrading my PC, or like certain things on my PC not too long ago, and I was like, huh, I think my RAM might be dying. I'm gonna buy a new RAM. No, hold on. This was before the AI thing.
Okay.
I accidentally bought DDR5 RAM. And my motherboard does not support DDR5 RAM, so now I need to replace my motherboard. But now I have $2,000 worth of RAM just sitting in my fucking drawer.
Look at this, man.
No. See, what you do is you go buy DDR4 RAM rather than trying to upgrade your motherboard, because DDR4 RAM is not like that much lower in terms of performance than DDR5 RAM, but it's DDR5 RAM specifically that's being bought up so much. You can still get DDR4 pretty cheap. Get the older RAM.
Don't listen to him. He's a communist. He doesn't know how markets work. What you need to do.
Yeah.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
And
Don't listen to him either. He's an ANCAP. He also doesn't know how the economy works. All right. Listen to me. I'm the. Listen.
Yeah. Don't listen to the guy who literally works. Don't listen to the guy who literally works in this field.
I need to replace my motherboard either way because it's been. My motherboard has been in this PC since I built it 10 years ago.
Okay, fair enough. I do IT and server admin work, and I build computers, so I'm responsible for at least some of the PC purchasing at my job, and my job is that of a factory that is doing like automated stuff. So
is anybody hearing him like kind of twice overlapped? Somebody. Oh wait, that's because of Groofus. Fuck you, Groofus. Okay,
nope,
never mind.
Nope,
what I do?
That's me. It's me.
Oh, it is you. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
I can't get into anarchist
back to my desk. I had stepped back to my desk microphone without muting my headset microphone. Anyways, so I work for a factory that we use like AI-based image recognition. Nothing cloud. It's literally we're just using like AI-enabled platforms for checking things like
there we go.
How you're taking pictures of the thing we're making and making sure everything's okay. But anyways, so we need computers with local AI capability. We need computers for controlling the machinery. So I'm responsible for purchasing or specking out a lot of that stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, Castle, are you?
Do you like it?
It seems a good job.
Sorry, what did you say?
Are you F or Nev Castle?
Oh, I'm F for this.
Okay, I was just wondering if we were missing a negative or an F. That's all.
No, good.
We home. Let's go.
Dude, Groofus, I had you muted, bro.
You did?
Yeah, because I thought it was your screen share. I thought you were screen sharing, so I muted it because I thought it was double echoing from Ancom and you screen sharing us. Oops.
Interestingly, or just smart enough to filter out other people talking when you're screen sharing.
Wow.
Nope. Let me see if that's working. Hang on one more time.
That's very nice. Very nice of them. Very nice.
I'm good.
Groofus, check your DMs.
I see.
Yeah, I slid up in them DMs too, Groofus. What's up?
God.
Okay, so who do we have here? I didn't even look at who is going up against who. So we have affirmative, is average debate enjoyer, McGriffins. Who else? Maybe Red? Oh, Castle.
Yeah,
okay. Castle's not. Oh, Castle is. No, Red is negative. It says N.
Get out of here.
Oh, it says N.
We ain't gonna be dealing with answers. You got enough attention.
Castle
today.
is negative. It's whoever Red is. Sorry, I
whoever he is.
Yeah, I don't know that name. Apologies.
Yeah.
Anyways,
first time, guys. Hi.
You, Tyler, and Group.
What's up, Rojo?
Prompt is, but.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a late start, but we will be fine. I apologize, everybody. I appreciate you.
Technical difficulties on my end. Apologies.
I could have taken a shower. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we've been meaning to talk to you about that, Razor.
This guy's wasting my opportunity cost. We need
True.
punish him.
All right.
All right, let's see. Judge.
Putting economic sanctions on Red for wasting our time.
Economic sanctions actually hurt the economy.
Take your time. We're still setting up. Tyler, I know you had to go, correct?
Yeah, I gotta give my wife a ride here. Probably about half an hour. It'll take me about 20-25 minutes. So I should be back.
Damn, when I give my wife a ride, I only last like 2.
Yeah.
Congrats on that.
5 is a lucky day.
Think about baseball.
It's just gonna make it just 2 minutes like gay.
Hold on for a moment. Tired of typical candy?
Though from what I hear, the length of time it takes to give your wife a ride is more about her, less about you.
I mean, fair. Okay.
Wow.
I'm sorry, I'm still trying to smash my own pizza. Like everything was running late today, so.
Okay, so just to make it clear, so we're doing point system out of 10. Affirmative is on the left of the point system, and negative is going to be on the right of the point system.
That is correct. And
Okay, just
the judges are going to be expected or asked to please have one question per debater.
one question.
Do your best.
Oh fuck. Per debate. Okay. Let me get that through. Okay.
You and I are both fucked on this one, Kay.
Wait, what?
Affirmative questions.
What
One.
happened? Why?
Oh, because we have to come up
two.
with at least 6 questions each of us for your arguments.
Yeah.
A
Radish has to as well.
negative questions.
Radish is going to get questions too. He's fucking himself over as well.
1, 2, 3. Okay. I have a section blocked off for it now.
Okay.
I am so almost done. I promise.
Affirmative notes.
So unprofessional.
Negative notes. I'll make a place for conclusion.
Apologies,
Conclusion
everyone.
slash
I'm back.
reasoning. Okay, let's block these off now.
My cat was freaking out, so I had to check what was going on.
It's okay.
All right. Got it. All right, cool. Now let me start everything up and we will be good. I really am serious. I appreciate y'all's patience here. Prompt. Empty that
Appreciate
shit.
yours. Okay.
Yeah, non-streamer had to set him up with an OBS virtual cam super fast. So that was what that was all about. You will
I
get
had no
to
idea.
go second.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. You will get to go second since it looks like Razor and Groofus are both here. I will have them go first so that way you can kind of see the format and everything else. But I will also go over it a little bit in advance. So. Boom. All right. And...
Did you just call yourself a boomer?
Maybe. All right.
He does that a lot.
You know, win in Rome, bro. Win in Rome. This is the demilitarized zone. There we go. Sound that shit out, Radish.
You're Switzerland, basically.
Don't add
the
extra.
Ooh, sorry.
UH.
This one's too hard. I don't want to think right now. I'm just trying to wait.
The demilitarized zone? That's actually kind of fucking funny. I might change it at some point. Especially if we have like a dumbass night. Debate night. Doom. Good faith.
The average debate drawer. Can I like? Can I say that I feel like your name to be statistically relevant needs to actually be the mean debate enjoyer?
No, you're
like mode and average.
No,
just statistically.
You're interpreting it incorrectly. It's my level of enjoyment of debates is average.
Yeah. No, it would be mean, median, or mode. No one uses mode because it's stupid. So you would go for either mean or median debate enjoyer.
No, I will say that I love you, Tyler, but I do get pissed every time I have to type out your long fucking name. But I'm also going to go ahead and say that Ancom, not much better. So
fair enough.
Ancom, Psycom with the caps in the right places. It's just a whole fucking thing.
You can just call him Aid. That works.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say.
I just say Tyler.
Tyler 8.
Yeah.
Tyler 8.
Wait a minute.
You don't get a clever thing out of me for that, but oh well.
Or even ADE.
I realize
Well,
how inconvenient, and that's why I just use my first name.
No, it's and I get it. Yeah, it's like I said, I don't actually mind. I'm just being a smartass. It's part of the job.
I mean, that
It's
was
not the
originally
worst
Razor
part.
Sharp Gaming 96, and I shortened it to just Razor Sharp G.
Yeah, no, I have seen your whole name as well, and even Razor Sharp G. It's like, bro, you're just Razor. But here we are. So, all right, I think we are live. Fuck yeah. Who else is streaming tonight? Vigi, are you live? Oh God, that is a clean-faced Vigi. What did you do, bro? You look 12. Vigi, are you streaming? Are you streaming Razor?
Yes, I am.
Yes. You are not.
I am.
I'm streaming.
Mark Rufus. All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Yeah, but you're
I'm
not
on
on Twitch,
YouTube.
are you?
Yeah,
ADE.
I'm on YouTube.
So,
Abby?
unfortunately, there's nothing I can do to help you over there.
I just
Does
wanted to let
YouTube
you know.
have like a stream together option?
No.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I just wanted to let you know
actually,
because you
they have
were
a-
asking.
they have a
Yeah, no, I
together
appreciate it. I
option.
appreciate it.
I think it does because I have seen YouTubers who are like, well, okay, I will clarify. I don't know if I've seen it on streams. I've seen it on normal videos where more than one YouTube channel is credited to a video. But I
Yeah, I've done that.
might do it on streams, though I'm not precisely sure how.
Okay. McGruffus. Right. Oh yeah, there's your little symbol. Got you.
Also, can you remind me what?
Vigi's not.
I don't think you ever told me what tonight's prompt is.
Ah, well, we got 3 prompts tonight. Tonight is a 1v1 night. Oh wait, is that you? That's not you, is it, Grufus?
Yeah, it was.
You changed your symbol. You can't be doing that shit, dude.
This has been my symbol on Twitch forever, dude.
No, you had the little star killer thingy.
No,
Right, whatever.
I've never changed it on Twitch.
All right, fine, whatever. I believe you, even if you are lying. So let's see. Tonight's debate prompts. I'm going to go over them real quick with all of you guys before we announce them to everybody out there in the chat and audience because people are still piling in. Our first debate tonight, and I'm going to do them in order. Grufus versus Razor, with the 2 major political parties are more alike than different. Followed by our new guy Red versus Castle on America lacks the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics. And then bringing it home for the night, Tyler versus Vigilante, average debate enjoyer versus Vigilante. It is merit that explains differences of wealth between 2 individuals. So, and for what it's worth, 2 people here are Phil's. Castle had to step in because energy flaked. And Vigilante had to step in, and we had to even change the whole fucking prompt because Alley Cat never responded. So we are working with what we got here, but I appreciate every single fucking one of y'all every single time y'all show up. So, that said, appreciate you there, feeling adventurous. Let me take a look. Wait a minute, my audio or Grufus's audio? I'm sorry, we got streamed together now, so. You mean, yeah, you know what? Actually, let's go ahead and start there.
This is mine. It's mine. Talking about audio.
And of course,
My audio should be good. I double checked everything. Although I'm really bad at things.
Show my own camera. There we go. Yeah, nope. But it's how it sounds on my end that matters. So, with that said, if Tyler, give me a few words, please.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to celebrate the union between 2 loved ones, Vigilante and Ancom.
Perfect. All right.
I object.
Rufus. Rufus, let me hear a few words from you. Rufus, you are muted, buddy. So I will circle back to you.
Hello.
Red, oh, no, there you go. Okay, let me hear you.
Sorry. Test.
I'll give you a little bit more volume. You are super quiet. All right. Red, give me a few words.
What the fuck?
I am here to talk about the morality of the United States and, well, lack thereof. And I would like to think that you will agree with me once I made my points.
No.
Good stuff. Okay, I know you already sounded buttery as always, but go ahead and let me hear you one more time.
Hentai is the most ethical form of pornography.
Did you move in towards your mic when you said it?
No. Why?
All right, there we go. Perfect. Razor, can I hear a few words from you, bud?
They say it down in the south that everything is a little bit bigger.
I thought that was just in Texas. Vigilante, go ahead and give me a few words.
How are we doing tonight, boys? This is gonna be fun. It's
Oh, yep. You sound gorgeous. And Ancom, let me hear you.
Yep, here is a few words.
I love that I finally got you tuned in perfectly, my friend. Castle, let me hear you, bud.
Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3.
Sounds great. And if Castle and Ancom can give me even a virtual cam whenever you guys are ready, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I also just changed the settings of my microphone, so it might be a bit loud on Discord now.
Nope, you sound perfect.
Castle, what the fuck is that? I'm trying to watch the fight tonight on your screen.
I got the World Baseball Classic. I don't want to get copyrighted.
All right.
Wait, what fight?
I'll be looking at
I'm just kidding. He's always got a sporting event on, and it's like half of his background.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's completely unrelated. Is anybody else looking forward to the Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano fight? Raise your hand. Anybody? Because we might have to do a watch together night.
I'll watch it. I hope Gina gets her fucking ass kicked.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Damn, personal shit. All right. Oh,
I'm not a fan of anti-vaxxers.
You're not a fan of what now?
I'm not a fan of people like Gina Carano, anti-vaxxers and shit.
Gotcha. So you want them to get physically violenced, eh?
Yeah, they disagree with him on politics. Absolutely.
Sounds like a leftist.
That's disagreeing with reality.
I can say my mother, but
yeah, there are different flavors of anti-vaxxers. To be fair, though, so
she's also a
Hold
Nazi.
on for a moment.
Equal.
Tired of
She's also
Wow, that's a
last I checked, Americans punch Nazis.
I do want to see the picture of her in her big, thick black boots. For what it's worth, just for evidence sake. That's all. I just want the jackboot picture in the Discord, or it's not true. Okay. So our first prompt of the night. Our first prompt of the night is, as I said, the two major political parties are more alike than different. Now, our debaters. Oh, you know what? Oh, we're gonna go through the thing. I'm not gonna play the song this time. I'm gonna make better song. Song not bad. Song could be better. Song will be better.
No, song kind of bad.
I've never heard the song. I want to hear it.
I'll send it to you directly because it's kind of great. It's a little abrasive, though it does make Tyler's hair move, which makes me happy. So, but we'll do that on another time. So, make Tyler's hair move, if you know what I mean. Giggity. All right, so
Nice.
everybody belt in, and I'm going to read our fun little intro. For those of you who do not know, we do this because we also make a VOD out of this, and the VOD makes it look so much more professional and like put together and shit. Like they won't know how fucking late we got started. I'm super sorry, chat, that we got started so late. I appreciate y'all showing up.
Started late.
All
every
right.
single time.
You eat a bag of dicks, young man. It is entirely the Europeans' fault. Blame Europe. All right.
More tariffs.
Here we go. Deep breath. All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Demilitarized Zone. This is the one debate show where we foster good faith debates and discussions to help you feel comfortable engaging in hot button topics. We are not here for the gotchas and the dunks, so please check your weapons at the door. We are trying to help folks stop and listen to each other, even if that is just so that we can see where we disagree. So sit back, cozy up, get your voting fingers ready, because here your votes do matter, audience members. Tonight, for your viewing pleasure, we have 3 debates starting, well, we're not going to go in the order of the debates. We're just going to go in the order of the people in the room. In our top left corner, we have Tyler, aka Average Debate Enjoyer. He will be debating in the affirmative on it is the merit that explains differences of wealth between two individuals. In the top center, we have McGroofus. He is also a streamer, so make sure you check him out. The links will be sent out to you later. He will be on the affirmative for the two major political parties are more alike than different. And then in the top right corner, we have a new guy to the DMZ, that is Red. He is going to be on the affirmative for America lacks the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics. On the bottom left corner, we have Castle, a sometime streamer who should stream more often for what it's worth. He will be on the negative against the new guy, defending America's morality and moral superiority. Meanwhile, in the bottom center, we have Razor with his token ninja sword to go against the idea that the political parties are more alike than different. And then finally, in the bottom right hand corner, with that beautiful clean shaven face, Vigilante. He is going to be saying why the merit does not explain the differences between wealth in individual leftist and com-sci-com. And in the center is K. Just K, gentlemen, just K. And then I, here on the right, am your moderator, the horseradish. So, give everybody a quick rundown of how this works here. We do good faith debates with a structure and a format. We do 3-minute rounds. We're going to start with an affirmative opening statement. After that, the negative is going to have 3 minutes to directed cross-examine or question anything they said. Then they're going to get their opportunity to present their opening, the negative is. And then following that, the affirmative will get 3 minutes to cross-examine, directed questioning, etc. After that, we're going to roll straight into a 10-minute open conversation period where the two can just go at it as they see fit. After that, each of the judges and the moderator will direct one question at each of the debaters to kind of fill out any questions or anything that they didn't, that the judges and the moderator feel like got left on the table. And then after that, we're going to go to the closings. Once again, 3 minutes apiece to put a cherry on top for us. After that, the judges are going to render their decisions, and I'm going to be presenting a link in the Discord or in the group chat, and even over there on YouTube for all of you YouTube streamers. And you guys can click that link. It's free to do, and you get to vote to tell us who you think made the best case tonight. Not who you think is the prettiest, not who you agree with the most, but who you think was the best debater in that conversation, who presented their case the best. Okay? So, with that said, our first debate of the night. Obviously. Yeah, obviously. Our first debate is two major political parties are more alike than different. Obviously, we are talking about in the United States, just to clarify that, though I don't think we need to. And as I said, our debaters on this one are going to be, coincidentally, the two in the middle. We're going to have the top center versus the bottom center. Now, we're going to put 3 minutes on the clock. I assume, since we're getting a little late of a start, everybody here is ready to play. So, Groofus, 3 minutes. Whenever you are ready, sir, the clock will start when you start to talk.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm arguing affirmative that holistically, when we zoom out beyond the usual American partisan bubble and look from radical perspective like anarcho-capitalism, anarcho-communism, absolute monarchy, and many others, the two major U.S. parties, the Democrats and Republicans, are much more similar than they are different. They are not opposites. They are rival management teams running the same coercive market-based machine. Before I go on, I'd like to give definitions for the three terms I'll be using in this debate. First is holistically. Considering the full picture, root principles, foundational structures, and long-term systemic effects, and compatibility with radical ideological endpoints rather than isolated surface-level policy outputs and short-term tactical outcomes. Similar would be sharing the same core axioms, operating assumptions, institutional commitments, and structural features. Differences diverging at the foundational principles, root institutions, or ultimate ideological endpoints, such that one party is meaningfully closer or less incompatible with radical alternatives like a stateless voluntary society, stateless socialism, or some such other, while the other is not. And here is some big areas where the Democrats and the Republicans converge. Both defend the state's monopoly on violence, prisons, police, military, and surveillance. Both uphold taxation, debating only rates and carve-outs. Both worship fiat money and the Federal Reserve. Both deliver corporate welfare, bailouts, subsidies, IP monopolies, and limited liability. Both fund endless foreign wars and massive defense budgets. Both enforce government-granted monopolies via patents and copyrights. Both insist democracy is the only valid system. Both preserve wage labor and private ownership at the production at scale. Both sustain mass incarceration and drug war legacies. Both expand executive power when their side holds it.
But
both coordinate surveillance and censorship with big tech when convenient. Both bail out banks and Wall Street during crises. Both maintain imperial presidencies' unchecked authority. Both create polarized illusions to sustain voter consent for the system.
Gish galloping. Get it down to like 5 points. Don't gish gallop, because some of those are really weak.
And when we stand in radical corners like Stalinist communism or full fascism, those surface differences shrink to practically an invisibility. The parties look functionally identical as defenders of the same coercive apparatus, and that's why I hold this position. Holistically, across real extremes, the two parties are more alike than different. They are siblings. And I yield my time.
I hate it.
Good stuff. So real quick, just so everybody knows, I was running late today, and for some reason, Straw Poll is not letting me do what I'm supposed to have already done. So I'm going to keep struggling with that. Hopefully I can get it figured out. If not, fuck me. All right, so, because why wouldn't we have tech problems? All right, 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, Razor. Cross-examination, sir. Go ahead and hit it when you're ready.
Sorry, it's been a hot minute. I'm asking him questions, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's just been a hot minute. Sorry. Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so when you're saying that, you're just basically saying that when it comes to the overall corporate and public, corporate and public views of the world, that the parties basically share the exact same wants.
You made the decision. I'm backing
Not quite the exact same, but yeah, they serve the same. They end up serving the same machine in effect, regardless of what they say.
Too many friends.
Or what they may say.
Oh, come on.
Do you believe that they want the same outcomes when it comes to the what happens within these systems?
I don't even think anyone's
yes, I think they both want to enrich themselves and their lobbyist buddies, and I think they want to. Not that they don't necessarily want to, but they don't give a shit if they screw over the average American.
Do you believe this has always been since the two-party system? The two-party system has been around during the industrialization.
I've taken them out 3 times today.
Largely, yes. Not necessarily to the same extent.
Since we've been home from swimming once.
Yes.
Yeah, when I first got home, I took them out immediately. So they probably need to go soon.
Do you believe? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I don't think there's any other questions I can really think of off the top of my head.
Nope. You don't have to use all your time. No worries. 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, Razor. Go ahead and start whenever you're ready with your opening.
Evening, everybody. I am Razor, here on Twitch.tv. I'm obviously on the negative on this idea that the two parties are similar, or more similar they are different. There's way too many differences within the two-party system based off of how the people in power vote, based on how they I see the American people, based on how they wish to actually enfranchise versus disenfranchise. I would say the priorities of either side. With the Republicans, they are very much have the priorities of the private owner class and as we've seen in recent history, white supremacy. while with the Democratic side, they
fucking
have
kill me.
Shown that their priorities.
This is the guy defending the argument I want. Is fucking
in line with the people.
Call the country
even if they
white
are
supremacist.
a little milquetoast about it. There is the case where during Biden's presidency, most of his executive orders that he passed and/or laws that he was putting into place were very pro-union, pro-worker, pro ownership for the middle class, for the middle and lower class, pro or anti-discrimination, pro equity, pro equality.
I've never had a garbanzo bean on my face.
It was more for the American people than it was for the American corporations. While the Republicans continue to fight to disenfranchise millions of Americans, even now with how people like Donald Trump are still pushing the SAVE Act, because their priorities are not the American
fucking
people.
retarded.
Their priorities are the corporate and Epstein elite. While the Democrats have shown that they are at least willing to
show your
listen
ID
to
to
the
vote
people.
is
The
disenfranchising
Republicans
voters.
have shown that they are openly hostile to
What's
the
that?
people. So if in terms of the similarities, the similarities end a little bit after similarities end just after when it comes to said donors, thanks to something called Citizens United. We can definitely, if we want to talk about how that caused both sides to be have a lot more similarities, but not enough to outweigh, not enough to say that they are more alike. Then we can, but I say that the similarities only started once Citizens United became a thing. Yeah, we can go.
It's like day 5 and they're both still like over play.
So it looks like straw poll is down, like all the way down. Thank you very much for doing the research there, Vizzy. Ancom, I'm gonna look to you, buddy. Apparently you as a mod are able to, you are a mod, right?
All right, please go with Mama.
You should be able to.
Go with Mama.
You made me mod.
Yeah, so if you, I don't know if I just did that in the Discord or if I did that here as well. So check mod.
Oh yeah, I don't think you did it on Twitch.
There you go. So you should be now. If you can make a poll for it whenever we're ready and we're done, I don't really know how to, but I guarantee you do. I know you could do it for me, Vigi, but he's one of the judges, so it just makes more sense. All right, sorry about that. 3 minutes is on the clock, Rufus, for your cross-examination. Fucking, this is technology, people. We'll start with you, Rufus.
So, Razor, did you know that Biden union busted a railroad strike in late 2022 directly after the midterms?
I do not believe that was a union bust so much as that was a that was him.
It was strike bust, yes.
Strike. Yes, and he then later went back and gave them everything they wanted. He just needed to get the product going so that prices weren't getting raised. He basically went back and said, "Hey, union guys, you got everything. Everything is yours. We just need to get you moving."
I thought that was the entire point of strikes, was to be inconvenient, but regardless.
Yes, exactly, and it was, and he simply said, "Can you stop it now, and then I'll get you everything later." And
all right. Would you agree that Trump has become increasingly authoritarian this term, especially compared to his first?
Yes.
Would you consider authoritarian for the president to direct IRS and/or the FBI to wiretap critics?
When you say what do you mean when you say critics?
Just mean like political critics. Like if he were to wiretap AOC, right? Just
like if we're talking like millionaires and billionaires who are quote critics because they don't want to pay their fair share in taxes.
No, that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm talking about like just political opponents. I haven't disagree. I'm not talking about any donors.
I believe wiretapping your political opponents it can be seen as a bad thing. Yes.
So, and if these words are actually, so we agree that these things are bad, and does that mean that any presidential candidate or administration employing them would be so to speak, bad? Or would you condemn that universally?
Universally, I don't think I can. It's always going to end up being a case-to-case basis. Like if there's someone who's legitimately committing a possible crime and it has to do with the IRS will do within their power to get the information they need to get the person who has committed a crime of be it tax fraud or tax theft.
I'm not talking about when they commit a crime, though. I'm just saying, like, purely for political disagreement.
I don't know if that's ever happened. I don't know when that's happened specifically, other than like with Trump possibly, because he's been shown to do it. I don't know if Biden ever did it. So again, like it will be a case basis. So I legitimately don't know. But I
actually haven't been talking about Trump at all, really, aside from that first question.
I already knew what you did.
Yeah, I figured, but JFK, the ideological organization's audit project targeted conservative groups for audits and exemptions because of their religious beliefs. Robert Kennedy authorized wiretaps on Martin Luther King Jr. in October of 1963 to surveil and discredit, obviously, a key social rights figure or civil rights figure.
I can chalk that one up to more of a I want to say like a racism thing with the timing there with that, but
I mean so you're saying
with the MLK part, I'm saying like not the conservative,
sure.
the religious things, yeah.
But even though not RFK, but JFK run on largely, well, he was more of the centrist part of his party. He still largely ran on civil rights, right? Like or at least tacitly supporting them. So I don't really see why he would do that just for racism, right?
Well, especially not him specifically, but some possible people that could have been in the cabinet at the time. Would you? So I just want to quickly ask you: do you know what the Democrats' policies were for healthcare pre-Citizens United?
You mean like pre-Obamacare or
pre-Obamacare, pre-Citizens United?
Citizens United.
Do you know what their plans were?
Not offhand, no.
What does Citizens United have to do with healthcare?
It was during the Clinton era. Clinton was actually working with his wife on policies to get us universal health care, and the Republicans absolutely fucking hated that. And
true.
They used a corporation to make attack ads against Clinton. Their hatred of Clinton basically brought us the case of Citizens United v. I believe FEC. I believe.
Yeah.
I might be. Yeah. And we ended up Citizens United ended up winning that, thus giving us the nonsense we have of donors buying politicians, because it gave the corporations the right to speak with their money. So thanks to the pure vitriolic hatred that the Republicans had for Hillary Clinton, we have Citizens United, which is another case for me saying that they are not alike at all. Most of the time. They've only became somewhat more similar after Citizens United, because in order for the Democrats to even survive, they had to start taking donor money from certain corporations. And while yes, they are still shit for doing that, and I hate that, they at least
are still
try
similar,
to listen
then.
to people.
So they are similar, then.
Not enough to say that they are more alike. They are still way more different. That's like the one similarity I can give you. Past that, no.
So if you bring up Citizens United, I'm assuming you're talking about corporate personhood, right? When we're talking about that.
Yes, thanks to that happening, that's why donors are able to buy out politicians and basically have this corporate. This
guy's so fucking stupid.
Donors were what you were perceiving.
Citizens United was in 2008
on the same side
when Obama was in office.
So there's typically two claims people make when they say corporations are people. The first would be corporations are literally human beings and should be treated identically to natural persons, and the second is corporations have some legal rights similar to how natural persons have legal rights. Which are you making right now? Or which one are you saying sorry, which one do you think Citizens United made? Sorry, misspoke.
The I do not have I don't have it down to a minutia of the details on this. I know it simply as the ruling that made it possible for corporations to say that for the courts to say that money is speech and corporations have the right to use their speech when it comes to paying politicians. So basically legalizing bribery.
So you're talking about super PACs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So super PACs weren't invented, super PACs weren't created by Citizens United. They were created by a separate case called SpeechNow.org, which is not even a SCOTUS case. It was an appellate case. Right. So it wasn't created by Citizens United.
I'm not saying it was created by Citizens United. I'm saying Citizens United gave us the basic corporate legal bribery that we have now. And super PACs have always been a thing, but they had rules about how they could be used and what they could be used for. They were limited to what they were able to do. Like money was still technically in politics, but it wasn't as rampant and large as it is now, thanks to Citizens United.
Yeah. So now you're referring to, I guess, dark money groups. Yeah. So
basically.
Yeah. So.
But again, I would have to say, like, after that particular case, that's when the parties started to have some similarities, but they're still way more different than than anyone can understand by a simple saying like, oh, who are their donors? Like, if we go past who are their donors, we have to look at their policies, what they put as priority, and where their money usually goes, or what they usually say. Like, if we were to say look at executive actions of Democratic presidents versus Republican presidents, we can almost assuredly show that they are way more different than alike.
So if we're gonna go by the actions of Democrat presidents, I'm gonna go back to Citizens United in a moment, but say Obama had the Chrysler bailout, building on the Bush administration's illegal use of TARP funds to bail out the auto industry. And Obama in 2009 bullied Chrysler's secured creditors who were entitled to, quote, absolute priority, unquote, into accepting 30 cents on the dollar, while junior creditors, such as labor unions, received about 50 cents on the dollar. This subversion of creditors' rights violates not just bankruptcy law, but also the Constitution's taking and due process clauses.
That sounds like donors got to them and made them change laws in order to do things. Like I said, when it comes to
this is
donors,
2009, so this is before Citizens United.
No, Citizens United. Wait, what? Citizens United was Clinton era.
2010. 2010.
Right. 2010.
No,
Clinton,
2010. And this was
Clinton, or was it mid Clinton? I always.
No, I'm talking about for what? No, Citizens United was 2010.
Oh,
Citizens United was decided in 2010.
Right.
Look it up.
That doesn't feel right because because being in Clinton era when it began, like during Clinton's presidency.
2008.
I might be slightly off.
You're very off.
United was
You're very off. You're off by this much. Yeah.
You're
way off.
Austin. This is a different court case.
Possibly.
Very different court case. So and also
how fucking embarrassing that is.
I do want to.
Oh, what's up, Jake?
Go back to Citizens United really quick. Yes, money did increase, but the dark, quote unquote, dark money groups, which were 501c4s, did exist before Citizens United.
But
What happened? What happened?
Team, fuck off.
Yeah, what happened after 2010, after Citizens United? Political operatives realized they could route money through these 501c4s to hide donors. The FEC didn't actually enforce disclosure rules, and the IRS didn't crack down on groups abusing the, quote, social welfare designation, unquote. That's not Citizens United's fault. That's just the government failing.
Oh yeah, I can take that. I can understand where I may misremembered on that part. But if we still have to go back to the actual topic here of like what them being more, in my opinion, they are way more different than they are alike. And that does not fall under their economic ideals. Because this is the capitalist country. We're going to be capitalist, no matter which party it is. But
so they're similar. They're similar in that front, then.
Again, that's like it's like maybe one or two similarities that me and you might end up having. If I'm not saying the capitalist part, but you know, that's like saying that we both like chocolate, therefore we're extremely similar. Like that's not the same. But with, like again, I'm saying like the priorities and different policies and who they center most of their ideas and policies around. With the Democrats, it's already been shown multiple times over the years that while being milquetoast about it, because donors keep holding them back, they still at least are pro-union, pro-worker, pro equity and equality. They want to demarginalize minority groups, be it black, trans, gay, Asian, Somali, like anyone who comes to America, being more for legal immigration and ways to make it easier and better to get us, more people here for labor.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and jump in there real quick. We run out the 10-minute clock. We've gotten to the judges and moderator questioning part. We're going to put 1 minute on the clock for each of these questions. I will go first. Give my judges a couple more seconds to gather their thoughts, because this is also new for UK. You guys, I'm not going to have. You don't send me the questions. You just ask them yourself, and let the debater make the foolish decision to debate the judge. So I'm going to look at you first, Razor. We're gonna Razor. No, I'm sorry, Groofus. We're gonna go to you first, Groofus.
Oh,
on
okay.
The aft. Yeah, no, it goes aft and negative. We're gonna go to you first, and all three of us are gonna ask you a question, and then all three of us are gonna ask Razor a question.
Yeah.
So, for you first, Groofus, I know that you consider yourself a libertarian. My question is, do you believe that you are asserting that the current two major political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, have more overlap or similarities than they do differences? Do you believe? Hold on, Razor, you're going to get your chance. Do you believe that the same thing would happen even if two different parties were to gain power, such as the Libertarians and the Greens? If the Libertarians and the Greens replace the Democrats and the Republicans, do you think that the same overlap would occur? Why or why not?
I think that initially I do think it would be better, but because of how first past the post works and the current system overall works, I think eventually it would just turn into Democrats Republicans 2.0 again. Yeah.
Because of first past the poll.
First past the post, yes.
Okay.
And a bunch of other things within political science, but yeah.
All right, good stuff. Ancom, do you have a question ready for Groofus?
All right. So statistics show that congressional representatives, including senators, have voted with their party far more over time than in the past, where there was more cross-the-aisle voting. So how do you account for the statistics showing that congressional votes have diverged over time?
So this just is we're still working within the American framework of just, or not necessarily the American framework, but within American politics and within the small American bubble of politics, right? So we have modern liberals on the left who at most might advocate for something like UHC or the Green New Deal, and then on the right we have someone going about the average Republican is no further right than really someone I can't think of it, like Bacon, like Don Bacon would probably be like about the average Republican. Like we're not talking about a huge gap when it comes to especially comparing two ideologies such as ourselves, right? Between anarcho-capitalism, narco-communism, or absolute monarchy to Stalinism.
And Kay, question for Rufus, please. Good sir.
All right. For Grufus, my question to you would be, do you think the Democrats could have or would have done anything that's been currently accomplished under the current administration?
I don't quite understand the question.
Okay. If the Democrats were in control currently instead of the current administration, do you think that they would accomplish / do similar things?
I'm still confused. You mean like they would still go to war
Christ.
in Iran, or no? Like, do you mean like they would go to war in Iran?
Kamala wins. She appoints a cabinet.
Sure.
Do you think that the policies they would pass would accomplish the same things that the Trump admin has passed and done?
So basically nothing, aside from maybe the tariffs. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry, I was a little confused by the question, but
yeah, I'm sure we will get back to that question in the after party. I want to articulate it a little bit better and hear your answer. So now we're going to go over to you, Razor. Once again, each of us is going to have a different question for you. I will start again. So your position is that because of the how do I phrase this? Let me start over. Because of the small changes or differences in policy that they present, you believe that represents a more significant difference. But my question to you is, would you agree that the primary focus and goal of both of the major political parties is to maintain the the two-party system and maintain power between the two of them? And if so, does that underlying goal not supersede everything that comes after it? Did I ask that question correctly? Did that make sense?
I'm gonna need you to repeat at least the first part.
Let me rephrase it, because that was really clouded. I should have written it down better. Okay. Do you believe that the two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, who you believe are more different than the same, share the same underlying principle of controlling and maintaining the duopoly of power?
No. With the current people that are in power right now, I would say that the Democratic leaders seem a little bit more open, at least a few of them, and growing thanks to primaries fucking kicking, are more open to more voices by trying to possibly put in things like ranked choice voting and whatever the stage one is. I forget the other one. I've heard Tyler talk about it before. With the Republicans are getting more and more towards monarchy. They want a dictator. They want they just want pure one-party power. Like you have Donald Trump basically saying he wants to. He's not saying it, but he's putting as much as power as he can into it by using Project 2025 to try to make the Democrats the quote enemy of the people and jail and get rid of all of them. Luckily, he has been failing, and he will continue to fail to the midterms. Make sure you vote.
good stuff. Ancom, once again.
Yep. So, Razor, one of the interesting points you made, or rather claims you made, was that before Citizens United, the parties were even more different than they are now. That the similarities that we currently see, or that group has currently pointed out, happened after Citizens United. So I'm actually going to hit you with the same statistic that I hit him with, which is the statistic showing that voting records within Congress over time have diverged with less and less cross the aisle voting over time, which would seem to contradict your point. So I want to see how you account for those statistics in that claim.
I would say that due to partisanship happening in America with the voters and the Democrats actually caring a little bit more about the said voters, even if they sometimes don't show it because they act very milquetoast with a lot of their shit. It's showing that while one side is continuing to go more and more against the American people, the Democrats are at least willing to listen. I would say that discrepancy in that more partisan voting lines that we're seeing is due to the Democrats somewhat holding to the idea that it's the power of the people, not the power of the donor.
Gotta remember to click the fucking start button. I swear to God. Kay, question for Razor, please.
All right, so Razor, you say that the problem is capital capture as well as interest groups. If both sides are serving capital and being corrupted by similar interest groups, what makes you think that they're more different than similar?
Priorities. As I said multiple times, it is priorities and the different policies that they will put through. With the Democrats, it has been shown multiple times, again through things like with Biden's executive actions and the different laws that the Democrats were able to put through, like the Inflation Reduction Act. They are shown to be boost to the middle class, lower class American people, not something in favor of the corporations, while still surfing that edge to where the donors that they currently have don't leave them, because they, like I said, there is some similarities, but it's not enough to say that they're more similar than they are different. And that one similarity is that they want to keep their donors because who doesn't like money? That's their reason. That's their reason for at least having the donor. Like that you would end up having to say, I'm like every single one of you because I like money.
Great way to land it. All right, so we're now going to go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock. We're going to go back in the same order. That means the AF is going to go first. Rufus, you get to close. Again, do not feel obligated to use the entire 3 minutes, but do what you got. So let's hear it.
I'm muted. Whoops. All right. My opponent claims Republicans disenfranchise voters and serve the private owner class, while Democrats align more with the people and are less bad, support unions, and deliver more for Americans. But when you look at this holistically, the asymmetry pretty much collapses. Both parties disenfranchise when convenient. Felony disenfranchisement laws, for example, voter purges, restrictive rules persist under bipartisan control. Even electoral reform, red-leaning Alaska and blue Maine have both adopted ranked choice voting. Alaska via 2020 ballot measure and Maine in 2016, with ongoing expansions in both states. This shows frustration with the winner-take-all system, yet neither reform abolishes the actual coercive state or the representative democracy's core flaws. It's tinkering within the same paradigm. My opponent also highlights Trump has been trying to lock up political opponents as proof of unique Republican authoritarianism. But as I tried to show, this pattern of targeting critics via state tool is bipartisan. JFK used the IRS and FBI to audit and target ideological opponents and wiretap MLK. Obama used the IRS to flag Tea Party groups for scrutiny. and both parties expand executive power when they are in control. Both serve entrenched interests. Massive corporate donations flow to Democrats too, and in the 2016 cycle alone, Hillary outspent Trump about 2-1. Much of it from the same elite donor class, proving Democrats are no less entangled with big money when it counts. On unions and the people, Democrats have overridden labor when it suits them. Biden imposed a rail contract in 2022 without sick pay, blocking a strike. Obama pressured Chrysler creditors to favor unions over secure bondholders when a bailout. Clinton tried for healthcare reform in '93 with employer mandates and universal coverage, but relied on private insurers and heavy state coercion. These aren't proofs of the fundamental difference. They're tactical maneuvers within the same statist capitalist framework. From radical corners, Stalinist communism sees both as bourgeois, statist preserving exploitation. Absolute monarchy sees both as godless republicans. True fascism sees both as weak pluralists. The parties look functionally identical. Democrats might offer a human face or slower repression, maybe, but both enforce preferences via the same coercive state. Holistically, the similarities dominate, rival teams managing the same imperial apparatus. I repeat, the two parties are siblings.
Okay. And now it's on you, Razor. 3 minutes is on the clock for you to close, sir. Go ahead when you're ready.
Oh, shit.
So, as you can see, it appears that the answers I gave were very much ignored in saying that they are different when it comes to the idea that the Democrats are the same, are like nearly the same as Republicans. Again, with the Democrats and Biden, they gave the union strikers exactly what they wanted. They just asked that they break the strike a little early, then they got it. They got everything. So it shows again the difference between Republicans and Democrats. Republicans never would have done that. They would have just tried to break the strike and give them nothing. Democrats have shown consistently with things like the NLRB, with Elizabeth Warren, that she's fighting to get all of the money that corporations and businesses have stolen from the American people via wage theft. The Democrats constantly put in ways to help the American people. Biden used his executive order powers to ban non-compete clauses and try to in order to give more freedom to the American workers. The differences are very clear. The similarities are so vague that in order to say that they are even close to the same involves taking a sledgehammer to not a sledgehammer, take a shredder to vocabulary and throw in a bunch of big words in order to trick the people into thinking they are exactly the same because Marxist, capitalist, the Communist Party thing. It's annoying to hear it personally because the priorities of one is the people, the priorities of the other is the corporate power. And although I hate the Democrats just as much as I do the Republicans, at least with the Democrats, they're willing to goddamn listen, and they're not trying to take my votes away simply because I might change my last name when I marry someone.
All right. Landed that. So, great job, gentlemen. I enjoyed the hell out of that. I think everybody did. That was wonderful. I appreciate you both. So we're going to go ahead and put the link. So it looks like Vigilante was able to figure this out, hopefully. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going to drop the link here, but it is apparently the British version of straw poll. So, oh no, it's smart polls. Never mind. Not the same. But we'll try this one out for the night.
Can I butt in real quick as a... Sorry.
You're going to get your chance just a second.
Yeah.
So go ahead and everybody out there in the audience, click that if you can see it. And I'm going to put it in. Tyler walked away and he was the only one on YouTube, so I don't think he actually needs it. Never mind. Castle, you're not streaming over on YouTube, are you? No? Okay, cool. Then yeah, everybody out there who can see that in our chat, go ahead and click it. It costs you nothing to vote. Again, we're looking for who you thought was the best debater of this conversation or this debate, not who you agreed with. But we're now going to go through the two judges and get their decisions. Again, they're going to render this based on a 10 points total between the two debaters. I'll start with you since you seem to be chomping at the bit, Kay. Where did you learn
That's why.
this?
Well, this is why I wanted a second.
Up,
I was
guys.
going to ask if I could do something we haven't done before. I would like to deliberate for like 2 minutes with my other judge in a separate room while people are voting.
I would actually rather that not happen. Tyler, now that you're back, I'm putting the link to the poll in the room chat, so you should be able to share it with your viewers as well. So, Kay, I would actually rather the
Of course
judges
it works. If
have
you're
their.
being...
I would rather the judges have their own unbiased or unmanipulated opinion.
Fair enough.
That said, if y'all land on the same, you land on the same. If you come up with completely different, you come up with completely different. So.
I'll still go first if you want. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
so I think I'm giving this 6-4 affirm to negative. So that would be going to Groofus here. My reasoning being that I think that Groofus showed that the overarching systematic similarities are overwhelmingly overlapped, and that the parties actually focus on the few things that they don't agree about within the system and make that their entire like personality to sell people. I think while the negative side, what it seemed that he showed is that the parties, those little things like these parts that actually are the policy changes, make a big difference to us people. But that's just saying that the few things they disagree on do impact us, not what the prompt says, which is that they're more alike than different. It doesn't like hold weights. So I think that I will have to barely give it to Groofus on that merit, that he showed that the overall majority of the system is upheld by both parties, while the other side showed that the tiny bit that they do disagree with impacts our lives and is a reason you should vote. So.
Okay, I hear you. Ancom, it's your turn, sir. Where did you come up? Oh, you got really quiet, my friend.
I changed some Discord settings, so I don't know if
now you sound perfect. You sound perfect.
Okay. So one thing I'm disappointed that neither of these debaters brought up was the concept of the Overton window, because I think this could have benefited both of them depending how they used it. Whether or not the U.S. political parties are more similar or different is largely a subjective question. It is one that depends on the scale at which you are speaking. At the very least, I do think Groofus made his scale very clear, whereas I think Razor made the scale at which he was viewing it a little bit more fuzzy. Though I think through context and just, you know, the general things he was talking about, and you can pretty clearly assume where he was coming from with it. That said, I think arguments from both sides were a little bit lacking in what they were trying to show. But overall, I think Groofus did outperform Razor just a slight bit. Honestly, if I could do, if I could do fractional points, I would, but I don't think that would be fun or really doable for you, Razor. So just in kindness to you, while I would like to give it a 5.5 to 4.5, I will give it 6-4.
All right, 6-4. So what that means is, everybody, the winner here is going to be Groofus, regardless of the audience vote. However, I still want you guys to go ahead and click that because points do matter and we do keep track. So I would like to see where you guys landed on this. So we've got the two. So it looks like, Kay, you didn't have to collaborate with the judge for you guys to land on the same foot. So I still think that it was a great performance from both of you, and I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there because I don't get a vote except at the end with the MVP. I will say that I felt like the Q&A was significantly in Razor's favor. I felt that the questions he was able to deal with the questions more effectively than Groofus was, but I did sort of feel like Groofus was more controlling the open conversation. I also kind of feel like maybe even Razor did some better work on the closing, whereas Groofus did better on the
See,
open.
Chad, I don't give a
probably
flying
would have been a
fuck
5-5.
about who has
glad that it's
the
not me,
seeming control over the conversation.
Vigilante, I don't know
if somebody's
I'm able
meek,
to
but they're
see
making
what
the right
results
points, then I don't care if they're fucking meek.
Without,
If someone's boisterous and they're making bad points, who cares if they're boisterous?
I was gonna talk.
All right,
I
you know what?
forgot to talk over to windows in my notes. Fuck.
I'm going to give just a couple more minutes. I do see where I can click view results. I do see where I can click view results. So that said, I'm going to give y'all just about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and locking it in. Looks like 6-4 to or no 7. Fuck 7-3 for the affirmative, according to the judge or to the audience. So that is a shutout, Razor. I am sorry, sir. But you know what? Like I said,
I won in my heart because I've gotten better.
Yes, no, you absolutely have. That's for absolute sure. And again, like you said, you're a little rusty. It's been a minute since you've been on, so you're going to do better next season, I'm guaranteed. All right. Well, good stuff. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. That was wonderful to watch. We're going to go ahead and get everything queued up quick to our second debate of the night. This one, once again, we have a new combatant in the DMZ. We have got Mr. Red, a person who has a very nuanced insight into the United States' impact on foreign countries, given that he is from a foreign country. So, this prompt: America lacks the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics. Once again, chatters, everybody keep close notes and pay attention to see who you think is going to be the best debater here. It's not always that your votes are, completely meaningless. Usually they do matter. Our debaters this time are going to be in the top right corner and the bottom left corner, coming at it from as far away as they can. In the top right corner, agreeing with the statement above, is Red. And in the bottom left corner, disagreeing with this statement, is Castle. So you got to see how this works, Red. You got a pretty good understanding. Do you have any questions about the format before we kick this off?
Good to go, Chief.
All right, cheers. And in that case, Castle, give me a thumbs up. You ready to roll? All right. Red, you go first. You're on the affirmative, so go ahead and start the clock whenever you start to talk.
All righty. So I'm here today to talk about how the U.S. lacks moral superiority.
Boo!
And I will say metal.
Fuck you!
In foreign politics. Because when I look at the U.S., all I see is less foreign aid and more intervention. And I don't like the direction the U.S. is going, cutting funding from U.S. aid and getting involved with Iran. It sets a precedent. So I guess that's my opening statement.
Okay, not a problem. I forgot to start the clock, but it turns out it didn't really matter because I don't even think we used a full minute of it. I'm going to kick it over to you, Castle. It's going to be kind of hard to poke holes. Yeah, going to be hard to poke holes in that, but go ahead and give it a shot. 3 minutes for Cross.
Sure. So, I guess if you don't believe that the U.S. has, the moral superiority, can you name a country, or can you say who does have that moral superiority?
Am I allowed to talk?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No worries. Nope. Let me go through this again. That's why I asked if you had any questions about the format. So it goes open, then cross-examination, then open, then cross-examination. So basically, he's going to be directing questions at you based on what you've already said, and/or to set up what he is going to say. After that, he's going to deliver his opening. You're going to want to pay attention to that because you then get the opportunity to ask him directed questions about what he said, and then that's going to roll straight into the 10-minute open conversation. So for this, you're basically answering questions and responding to what he's asking you. So go ahead and start. Ask that question again if you would. I'm going to start the time over. Yeah, I'm going to start the time over. We're going to start it from scratch. Go ahead, Castle.
Sure. So, in other words, if the United States weren't to intervene because they don't have the moral superiority, which country should take responsibility for defending human rights around the globe?
I wouldn't say a country necessarily. I would say it would be Europe.
Okay, so you're relying
Not a singular country.
Okay, so you think that Europe, like a bunch of different countries, essentially should band together to defend human rights instead of the United States? Hasn't Europe also aided the U.S. in other imperialist conquests before? So why wouldn't they also have a record of, moral superiority or lack thereof?
No, I believe Europe morally is in a better position than the United States. So if I had to pick one, I would pick Europe. And that's not being biased from just because I'm from there. I genuinely think, morally wise, Europe is in a better state than the US, and I'll have plenty of evidence to back that up.
Do you think that without the US, Europe currently, or even in the past year or two, could have defended Ukraine for as long as we have?
I think that Europe is becoming stronger and stronger.
He's dodging. He's dodging.
And to just give you an example, our trade deal that we just made with India for like billions of dollars is a good sign that we're becoming stronger, and I believe we can perfectly take care of our own borders without the United States help.
Okay. I guess the last question would be, do you think that, based on what you just said, that Donald Trump had to force European countries in NATO to pay more in NATO because they weren't living up to their fair share, and henceforth they weren't living up to the amount of defense necessary to protect them from countries like Russia? Do you think that was a legitimate, reason? Or do you think that Europe wanted to pay more into NATO because they felt like it? Why do you think that they paid more into the NATO coffers?
I honestly believe...
I know the clock is out, but go ahead and take as long as you need to answer the question. Go ahead.
No. Clock's out.
No. Answer the question, please.
Well, I genuinely believe that, yes, the United States has been a big help with the war in Ukraine. Although I do not believe that we could not have handled it ourselves.
All right, 3 minutes is on the clock now for you. Go ahead and Castle, whenever you're ready. Give us your opening.
Cool. So whether the United States has moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics, I think to answer that, honestly, you have to kind of understand that the reality is not every country has the power to shape the world. There's really only a handful of nations that can do that. My opponent mentioned Europe in general is because there's no singular country in Europe that can really stand up to the great superpowers in China, the US, and Russia, if you want to put them into that category. So they're really the big three that have the military, economic, and diplomatic influence to affect foreign politics in a meaningful way. So the real question should be not whether some perfect imaginary country would be able to be morally justified in intervening. It's about among the nations most powerful enough to influence the world, which has the strongest moral foundation. And I think the answer is clearly the U.S. over countries like China and Russia, not because America is perfect, but because moral superiority doesn't mean moral perfection. It just means having a better set of principles, a better political system, a better historical record than the alternatives. So compared to the other great powers, I think it's obvious the United States was built on constitutional rights and a government that protects individual rights, free speech, religion, the rule of law, and these aren't just small things. They're very, the values that many people around the world fight and die for. I mean, if you compare to countries like Venezuela or Iran, both countries that we're now entangled with, whether you agree with it or not, you can attest to the people living there right now are in support of America intervening, because the current governments right now do not have the interest of supporting their people to give them better lives and opportunities in the country they live in. They're basically dictators or theocrats that have held power on for so long that the individuals of these countries are begging the United States to get involved, not China, not Russia. So I think that's an important distinction to showcase how the U.S. is not viewed as an oppressor or, without morals, that they're a country that many people around the world look for help. My opponent will say the U.S. has made mistakes, and they're absolutely right. The U.S. has made mistakes in the past. I don't think anybody can deny that. But that proves part of my argument and separates the United States from other powerful nations, is that when America does things that are wrong, the people or the government, however limited the government does recognize it, debate it, expose it, rectify it, and then try to do something about it to change that. So through elections, courts, journalism, protests, public pressure, the country tries to correct itself when it can. And that ability to self-correct is totally different from the other two superpowers I mentioned, who they can commit wrong and the people of those countries really can't fight back to change control or change how their country goes about it. So America is not morally superior because it's flawless. It's morally superior because among the powers capable of shaping the world, it has the strongest commitment to liberty, human rights, and democratic accountability. So
all right. All right, so now is going to be your time, Red. You can ask any questions that you need to, kind of poke holes in what he said, or set up your own arguments for the open. Use the time as you see fit. But once again, just like with your opening, you can use as much of it as you like to. So 3 minutes is on the clock. I'll start with you to ask questions.
Okay. I have a question. America calls itself the land of the free. But how can it still justify that statement when their own people are treated so harshly by ICE, for instance? Moreover, how do they think they have the right to meddle with foreign politics at that point? I mean, I did some Googling, and the poverty statistics, 36 million living below the poverty line.
Yeah, so also, to answer that... Oh, sorry, go for it.
No, sorry, I had one more.
Remember, it is Q&A. There's got to be an A. Go ahead.
For me or for Red?
Castle, answer the questions.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that we're kind of like mixing things up. If it's just you were going off of multiple questions, that's fine too. But I think that the U.S., again, like I mentioned, the U.S. has its own domestic issues. I don't support ICE. A lot of people in America don't support ICE. The polling on ICE shows that ICE is pretty negatively viewed, and I think that's something that we've even seen because of that negative reputation has been pulled back in certain places like Minnesota. So I think that even with our own problems domestically and freedom that some people believe is being stepped on here, there's a way for us to democratically change things here, even if there's an administration that we don't like involved. So I think that's one thing, and I don't think that should affect how we help other people around the world. I think, like I said, America is not perfect, but we're able to distribute large-scale aid to countries around the world who need it. And I think that even in the past, if we've done things that internationally is viewed as wrong per se, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be involved to help things that the international community believes is right. And I think that a lot of people internationally believe that what Iran is doing to their people is something that is terrible. How we go about it is being argued right now domestically, but it doesn't mean that we shouldn't be looking to help folks there as well.
Next question back to you, Red.
Okay, well, you seem to be convinced that America is helping the world or whatever. Okay, I have a counter.
Go for it.
90% of US aid contracts were terminated, which used to fund things like maternal and child care, AIDS relief, food assistance, clean water.
The fact that they existed in the first place.
Okay, like, I'm not gonna say like it's an obligation to the US to provide these things. Taking those away really like gives a good look at the US moral compass, in my opinion. Do they have to give that?
Castle, I'm going to let you go ahead and open that in the open. I'm going to go ahead and put 10 minutes on the clock for you guys. Just keep on going. But like I said, you can answer that in the open. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, again, somebody who supports US aid internationally, that's something that has changed with this current administration. In the past administrations, we have kept up our global aid. And I think it is something that is important because, like you said, countries rely on it, because there aren't any other countries out there doing what we do. So I think that kind of showcases how America has gone above and beyond
these
based
expert
on
ones
what
are
other
hard.
countries have been able to provide, which I don't think has been nearly as many billions of dollars to countries in need. Unfortunately, we have an executive that believes that the American people don't want to spend money on foreign aid, and then in a few years we may have a president who opens that back up. So I think you can say it speaks ill on the current administration, but as America as a whole, or the people as a whole, I think a lot of people would say that we would want to help others around the world, and we do through other means. There are other nonprofit organizations that are still funding these programs within the United States. It's just not at a government level. Okay, so outside of that, I guess I'll just keep the conversation going and kind of ask you a little bit too about why you think that Europe, I mean, we kind of went over a little bit too already about how they, I would say, have been struggling economically compared to the United States. I think militarily we've had to ask them for more assistance. We've helped protect countries in Europe in the past. I mean, if you look at World War II, when Europe was in trouble, the U.S. had to come in and help, exercise our military into Europe to help stave off Nazi occupation throughout Europe. So I think when Europe is in trouble, I think, wouldn't you agree that their only real ally that's close enough or strong enough would be the U.S., and you wouldn't want to argue that you don't want their help because the U.S. is some immoral country?
I would counter with that Russia probably did
you
more.
You missed nothing in the first
US
debate.
did.
Those two retards sucked. The second one cancels it. He's doing a lot
in World
better.
War II specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Russia did more. So
you can say that, but I mean, if you
who
think
took,
about
who
it,
took Berlin? I'm pretty sure that was Russia.
Sure, I'm not saying Russia didn't do anything, but I'm saying that the U.S. was called upon for aid.
Yes, we asked you for help, and you gave it. And I'm sure if the roles were reversed, we would have done the same. I'm not saying.
And I'm saying today, if that were to happen and Russia were to invade Poland, for example, wouldn't Europe also be calling for the U.S. for aid? And don't you think that we would help?
No, I don't think you will, because you don't want a strong European Union. I mean, the evidence is uncanny, honestly. Like how Rubio, the secretary,
I would say the opposite. I think that we do want a strong Europe.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Okay, based on what? I'm sorry if I cut you up, but you were saying something about Rubio. Why would you say the opposite?
Yeah. He went to Germany, and then he went to Slovakia and Hungary, which are the two European countries most opposed to European rule. giving reassurance, partnership, even election interference. Like he literally offered the guy, like, I will pay for your campaign if you support American ideals. So, money invested.
I don't know if that would necessarily constitute us being against Europe, or if we would want Europe to fail, right? Like, we still want Europe to be strong in order. I mean, the whole reason for increasing NATO, of course, of course, because the whole reason we wanted NATO funding to increase from these countries is so they could protect themselves in case an attack happened on them, and they had their defense necessary to do so without the U.S. for however long a time. It doesn't mean that the U.S. wasn't going to have. I mean, we're still involved with NATO, right? We can't abandon our NATO allies unless we want to rip up that treaty completely, which would be
well, you almost did
rare.
When you wanted to invade Greenland.
We never tried to invade Greenland. That was kind of just rhetoric from the executive, but I don't think that was like a serious...
You threatened to.
Yeah, again, I don't support the current administration's threats to do so, whether it's real or as a joke, but I don't think that was something that was ever taken seriously. I mean, you had both sides talking about it, but there was nothing there that was going to happen between the U.S. and Greenland. I mean, nobody's talking about it anymore. It was kind of something that came up, but I don't think it was a serious charge. But I mean, even outside of that, you can't say that somebody like Trump, who's dealing with the UK and all these European countries with trade deals, if he wants to get trade deals done, you have to do that. You can't just force somebody to make a trade deal. You have to be
UK is not Europe,
friendly.
by the way.
Sure. Whatever.
Sorry.
If you want to say the UK or Europe. I mean, either way, the trade deals that they're making, you can't be an aggressor with countries you're trying to make deals with, right? You have to be friendly to them. You have to come to the table and compromise. So I think that if he was actually opposed to Europe getting stronger, he would let it go by the wayside and not do any deals with them, wouldn't you say?
Well, let me lay it out for you. So Rubio visited the two countries within the European Union that are most opposed to European values. Anti-woke nationalists, MAGA or MAGA or whatever you want to call it, think tanks, and everything your country's been doing. They just want to support the quote-unquote patriotic European countries, and it shows.
Is saying you want to support more patriotic countries mean that you're not supporting the rest of Europe?
No. They want to support the countries that are in line with their own ideals.
Okay. I mean, again, I might not agree with
obvious,
that, but it doesn't mean that we're
everyone here.
It doesn't mean we're abandoning Western Europe at all. It doesn't mean that we're not supporting Germany or France or Spain. We still have strong relationships with those countries. If this current administration wants to help these other lesser countries in Europe prosper because of their more American-aligned MAGA ideals, that's fine, but I don't think that means that we're abandoning Europe as a whole. But also, I feel like we're kind of getting away from moral superiority. It doesn't mean that it kind of is like we're getting off track here, because I don't know what this has to do with moral superiority or how America has been bad at that.
Meddling with foreign politics. That is morally wrong, I would say.
Sure, but it doesn't mean that other countries who I've mentioned who are superpowers have not done that either. Again, America isn't perfect, but would you rather have China be doing that? I don't think you'd rather have Russia being involved in Hungary, which they have tried in the past. I mean, Russia getting involved in these countries like Ukraine has already showed that they're going to use their force and power to eventually take them over in some capacity. We've seen it in Georgia, we've seen it in Ukraine. Poland was being prepared if that were to happen, if Ukraine fell. So I think that you'd rather have the U.S. involved in Europe, even if it were whatever meddling or politicking you believe, than Russia, right? Or no? I don't.
Oh, sorry. I guess my my closing statement is just sure, but I still think it's immoral of the US to meddle in European politics. Because, like I said, the whole, like, you know, I don't think I mentioned this actually. You know, the Alex Peretti shooting by ICE, ICE detaining and refusing to accept valid identifications and deporting people against legal orders. I mean, if they're doing that to their own people, do we really want them to, like, you know, be in charge of the world, basically?
Yeah, again, I don't agree with what ICE is doing, and I think that the good thing about America is that we have the ability to change it. Other countries have had their own issues. I mean, protests aren't unique to the US. They don't even happen in countries like Russia and China because of how extreme their governments are, because people do get killed there on a much more massive scale. So, I mean, France, they have protests every day. Spain, the UK, we've seen it all. It's not unique to the US.
Oh, yeah,
I think that at least
I heard everything.
Right. So I think it just means that it's a showcase of democracy, which is a good moral value to have protests, if anything, even if your country is doing something that you don't believe in.
All right, and landed that right on the button too. So, good job.
Can I have one finishing statement still?
You're going to get a 3-minute closing. There's still going to be some questions coming at you. There's still a whole bunch more opportunities, so don't worry. You will get your actual 3 minutes uninterrupted to close. But first, you must answer some questions to us, the judges and the moderator. And you get to go first, Red, because you're on the AF. So, I have a question for you first. You do not believe that America has the moral superiority. Thank you. You do not believe that America has the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics. Do you believe that they have historically and that they've just lost it recently? Or do you believe that America has never had the moral superiority?
Never.
Okay, easy answer.
Yeah, sorry, never.
Nope.
I mean, look at the history. Look at Chile in 1975. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at Iran right now, when Trump is literally saying, like, the war in Iran is good for us because American oil is, like, gaining value. I mean...
Okay, you do not believe they ever have. All right, Ancom, question over to you, sir. Question for Red, please.
Yep. So you have stated that the U.S. doesn't have moral superiority, but in response to Castle's question that Europe does. My question to you is, should any country or coalition of countries violate the sovereignty of other countries by interfering in their politics? What gives anyone the moral right to do this?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I never believed that any country has the moral right to do so. I'm just saying that if I had to choose, I would take Europe over the United States. If someone had to decide whatever happens in the world, I would choose Europe over the United States.
All right, and Kay, question for Red, please. You are muted, friend.
All right, thank you. Sorry. So Red, you keep on referencing the cutting of U.S. aid. But if you want more U.S. aid funding, that would take more intervention. And if there's less U.S. aid, that would mean less intervention. So what exactly are you asking for?
Great question. I mean, U.S. aid mostly goes to continents like Africa. I mean, U.S. aid does not go to Europe. We don't need it. I just think U.S. aid, like, to me, and I'm saying this as a European, and feel free to disagree with me, but the U.S. aid was mostly going to Africa, and I'm fairly, I don't know, obviously, because I'm not part of the American government, but I like to think that money that used to go to Africa is now going to just meddle with European politics by, like, you know, supporting Rubio or supporting, like, Hungary by sending over Rubio, offering to, like, pay for his, like, politic campaign and stuff like that.
All right. Now, I'm going to put a minute on the clock for you, Castle. Each of these questions, you get up to a minute to answer. I will start once again. So, you mentioned that the two things that America does on the global stage are military and aid, right? And you mentioned that the large-scale aid that the United States offers, I understand the current administration notwithstanding, that the aid the United States offers is a large part of our moral superiority, or the fact that we have the ability to offer that as well. So my question to you is, do you believe that that aid is still moral if the aid is offered with conditions? Why or why not? Is conditional
are you just
aid
asking separately, or are you saying that
I'm asking you as a rule, do you believe that conditional aid is still a moral benefit, or a moral plus, moral boon? I'm not sure what the right word here is, but do you think that it is still moral for the United States to offer aid with conditions?
I think there are gray areas there. Like, for example, if you think about the aid that we are offering in countries like Africa, like malaria prevention, for example, I don't think that there were any qualifications to that. But if you're talking about Ukraine, like, for example, we made a deal in Ukraine for their minerals. If you give us your minerals, or you give us certain resources that you have, we'll protect you. I think that can be somewhat of looked at as a coercion, but at the end of the day, this isn't something that Ukraine or any other country has to accept. I think if it was some type of forced acceptance, then I think you can throw morals out the window. The fact that this was an agreed upon condition for more aid in Ukraine shows me that the Ukrainians thought it was moral, or they thought it was worth it enough for our protection against Russia. So in certain cases, I would say, yeah, if it was more forced, I would have to see an example of that for me to argue the other side. But yeah, I think it can still be conditional and still be moral.
Okay. And come.
So you mentioned earlier that one of the reasons that the U.S. is morally superior to other countries like Russia or China was that we had a sort of self-correcting system. Our the people can protest and potentially change the government's action. So my question is, why should other countries care whether or not U.S. citizens can change our government policy? Isn't it still a violation of their sovereignty, regardless whether or not it is considered to be self-correcting?
So, just to kind of repeat, you're asking why countries should care if our own U.S. citizens can't change the way that we view sovereignty internationally? Is that what you're saying?
It's basically, if the argument is that, from your perspective, is that the U.S. does have the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics, which I am summarizing as violating other countries' sovereignty, why should those other countries care that the U.S. has, as you claim, a self-correcting system if it's still a violation of their sovereignty?
Well, I think if there's a genocide going on, like we saw in Kosovo, I think it would be
Palestine.
Be involved in violence.
What about Palestine?
Right, because the people in that country don't have a say. Obviously, the government, however it's run, is killing off a large section of people. And I think even in the U.S., what we've seen in Israel and Gaza, you have a lot of people internally, domestically, who are trying to change the way we view what's happening in the Middle East. That could be to the benefit of people who are being killed overseas. So I think that internally, it's important for people in the U.S. to raise this because it can affect policy overseas. And I think that we've seen that interjecting ourselves in the sovereignty of other countries can save lives. Whether or not the government approves of that is one thing, but I think we've seen in the past how doing so has saved large swaths of people from being killed further. So I think it's something that not every case we're going to be perfect on and where we find our footing, but we've had past instances where the U.S. has gone in and violated sovereignty for the betterment of the people that we were looking to save.
And last question from UK, whenever you're ready, sir.
All right.
Yeah, just
Let me just. All right, for Castle. If you read a history book, you see a mixed story of the U.S. funding terrorists, but also liberating people, building infrastructure, but bombing it as well. Sanctions bring countries to poverty, but also establishing free trade lanes. So with such mixed results, how could you justify making the gamble of intervention?
So again, I wasn't shy of saying that the U.S. was perfect by any means necessary. I think my argument really stems from when I named the top three superpowers in Russia and China, is if the U.S. wasn't involved in making the rules of war or making the rules of international order, you would have a country like China or Russia step in. And I think based on our histories, you would see that it would go a lot differently, and you would see more bad actors with a country like Russia in charge of setting international order than the U.S. That's not to say that the U.S. hasn't done things like you mentioned, like we have funded and protected terrorists in the name of preventing terrorism, which is kind of ironic or hypocritical. But at the same time, Russia has done these things too. China has also had their own issues with forced prison camps or labor camps in their country where they've hurt their own citizens. So I think if you just look at the history, that's where I was getting at, where moral superiority really comes down to countries where if you're going to have somebody take over, the U.S. has the best track record in this regard.
All right. So 3 minutes is going to go on the clock for you now, Red, to be able to do your closing. Once again, audience, remember, here in just a few minutes, you're going to get the chance to vote for who you think presented their best case. But, Red, bring it home for us, sir. Use as much of this time as you need to, but 3 minutes is on the clock, and I'll start it when you start.
All right. I know I've said this before, but I really want to nail it down this time. I think it should be said again. America calls itself the land of the free, but can it really justify that statement? You know? When their own people are being treated so harshly by ICE, and moreover, does that give them the right to meddle with foreign politics? Just want to bring that one out there, okay? And I guess I'll say this: the tariffs Trump has put on Europe has literally decreased the GDP in Europe by 0.4%. He's literally trying to weaken the European economy. And again, I don't feel like that's morally a good thing to do. So my finishing statement, I guess, will be that the USA has no right in meddling with foreign politics because it clearly can't sustain care of its own people and clearly can't be trusted with affairs overseas. They overlooked moral failings in Saudi Arabia, Chile, Iran, I could go on, just because it profited them financially. So I would never trust your government. I guess that's me. Done.
All right. There you go, everybody. So that is our second debate in the can.
Hey, hold on. You haven't give Castle his
Whoa.
closing statement.
I'm sorry. Yeah, no, my bad. I thought that was it. I thought we were done there.
Do you need
I'm
to?
gonna wait for somebody to say it.
Wow.
I apologize.
Is it ethical for Horseradish to intervene in the debates?
Is it ethical for a gas station attendant?
If
No,
anyone
I was just.
this is look at the rigging happening right now.
It's rigged. It's rigged. Superiority to moderate these debates.
I'll send you a 20 later, horseradish.
Silence in the court. Silence in the court. Let the man speak.
All right. Fuck you all. Thank you very much. And thank you, Ancom, for keeping me on point. 3 minutes is on the clock, Castle. I guess I'll let you talk. If you feel like you need to put in a closing, whatever. Start it when you're ready.
Thank you. No, I'll keep it shorter than my opening, but basically, the United States principles that we were built on of liberty, the rule of law, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, they shape American society, but have influenced global order and institutions such as the United Nations and democracies and democratic alliances around the world. I know we talked a lot about NATO tonight. That's another one of them that's been super important for keeping peace in the region. So I think when we talk about the United States, mistakes that have been made in the past, as all nations do, it possesses the institutions to confront them through free elections, courts, and the free press. I think we've seen it a lot through social media now these days, where I think it is important for people to care about the domestic politics within the U.S. and what the people are thinking, because I think we possess more power than sometimes we're led to believe. I know some people don't believe that. I tend to think that powerful voices can come through at a certain in a certain aspect sometimes, not all the time. So I think that's one thing that makes the U.S. Important. And I think power will always shape international politics. The real choice is whether that influence comes from democracies that value human rights or from
All right, it's about time to do my warm up.
And when we compare the alternatives, like I mentioned to Kay, the United States kind of stands as that best nation positioned. My opponent said that Europe is a better alternative, and I don't think that you can really quantify Europe as a cohesive country or even a cohesive continent at this point, when he mentioned there are 2-3 countries that Marco Rubio visited that he prefers more than the others, and there's some strife between countries in Europe. So even when you look at a place like Europe, it's not even as cohesive as the single government of the United States that can really put all of our money and goodwill to use that we have. So yeah, that said, I think that kind of gives us the more edge that a lot of other countries, superpower countries lack. And I think that's why you should vote for me.
All right, is everybody done now? Are we sure?
Objection.
Yes.
So, thank you again. I apologize again.
We have the rebuttals.
Fuck off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put the vote in there, or the poll into the chat for everybody. I'm going to do the same thing for your chatters over here in the Discord conversation. Now, I am going to go to the judges. I don't usually put too many caveats except the ones at the beginning, and I know I've already said this before, but I do want to be clear to everybody that this is Red's first time ever debating. So I just want everybody to bear that in mind, that this was his first ever performance. So not that you're gonna don't go easy on him, make no mistake. But I do just want y'all to bear in mind that it takes a lot to stand aside and to put yourself out there. So
I was a virgin.
bear that in mind. All right, yeah. So we're gonna go to you first. Who went last time? Okay, you went first last time. So Ancom, I'm gonna go to you first this time. Ancom, are you ready?
Yes, I am. So I'm going to, and in recognition of the fact that this is Red's first time, I'm going to give him some pointers, do more of it in the after party. But the one thing I wanted to do is because coming past this, I was more inclined.
I don't get it. Why doesn't
his ninjutsu?
Lee has no ninjutsu or genjutsu skills at all.
You're kidding. Really?
It's over. A ninja who can do neither ninjutsu or genjutsu is certainly a rarity. Some might consider that a disadvantage. All right, Lee, take him off.
You said that was only as a last resort.
But this is an exception.
Really?
Basic training equipment.
Now I will be able to move freely.
So fast.
Amazing.
Now he doesn't need those other things. World's greatest taijutsu specialist.
Gaara's been hurt. And I thought he was quick on his feet before. He's been that fast all this time? Over here. No, here.
That's incredible.
I've never seen anyone that fast.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, uh-oh, it's right. Your friend with the eye makeup.
Argumentation I've heard period on DMZ when he talked about the turning the problems you had with the US and turning it to a strength of the US and being able to talk about self-correction and then hammering in like I don't that's hard, man. And I don't know why he doesn't debate like that when he's on my team. Where the fuck that came from, I don't know. So I just but you really had a tough opponent here, and he really was able to get you on a lot of things and build strong arguments, but you have your head in the right place. It's just you just don't know how to do it yet. And yeah, that's my stance here.
All right. So once again, looks like before we get to the audience votes, your votes don't actually matter, but they matter to us. So please make sure you go ahead and click that. I'm going to drop it in here one more time. Go ahead and lock in a vote for me. It costs you absolutely nothing. Just click that. Tell us what you thought, who you thought was the better debater here, not necessarily what you agreed with the most. And I will give y'all probably a good 5 count or so. And we will get to the yeah, we will get to it in about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's see what everybody got. Let's view results. And all right, looks like it is 7-3 for Castle as well. So we have another blowout. Yeah, that's all right, man. Like I said, this is your first try, so don't take it bad. 7-3 for the neg. All right, great job, Castle. Go ahead. What were you saying?
Red, I'd like to say this is about what my performance was my first time around.
He's not wrong.
You get better.
You absolutely will, and you will definitely be invited back. Don't you worry. And you're also going to find that you probably like the 3v3s a lot more than the 1v1s, just because it gives you the opportunity to kind of collaborate and sort of like work together and get everything prepared, and et cetera, et cetera. So I'm just, and we're going to get into this. Yeah, I promise you will. You will. I will get into this more once we get to the after party. But what Kay was saying was absolutely spot on. It was like there were several points where you made a good point, and I wanted to hear you drive in on it. But you just kind of said the thing and then left it there, right? As though, like Kay said, I'm kind of parroting what he said here, but it was pretty spot on. It was as though you're used to people who just understood the context of what you're saying, and you feel like, or you're not used to having to explain it to people who disagree with you. And when it comes to debate,
I was just nervous.
And that's the other thing, is getting nervous. Yeah, like I said, this is not easy to do, man.
I'm pretty sure I was
there's
just
people
nervous.
watching and shit and judging you and whatever. Yep. So, like I said, you did. Yeah.
Sorry. No, you finish, and then I was gonna read now.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, here's a note that I just want to that really hammers in the point. Did good with asking, do they have the right question? Then goes, I can go on. Then doesn't. Period.
Then doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Yes. I have
I was
something similar
nervous.
written in my
Leave me alone. It was my first time.
Names
like
two
the first
examples.
time-
Says I can name more, but doesn't.
I have that. That's one of my first notes. Wait, let me find it. Okay, defend
Leave
human
me
right.
alone.
Okay. Claim to have evidence to back that up.
with
Then
diabolical.
didn't.
I'm sorry.
It
Just like everybody's first time, it went shitty. There was blood everywhere, and it hurt. So
Yeah. But at least we kiss you
Ironic.
afterwards. All right.
It was my first time. Leave me alone.
So all right. So we are gonna go ahead.
I tried, okay? I had
Yeah,
a
no, you're
whole
good.
note and everything.
All right. So stick around though, because again, like I said, we're gonna talk about this prompt more, and we're gonna get into it more at the end. But right now, we are gonna go ahead and roll on to our last prompt. Our I'm gonna even say our featured debate of the night. That is gonna be between Tyler, average debating lawyer, up there at the top, and
Come on, give me some hands
top
up.
left, and Vigilante TV down there in the bottom right. And their debate is going to be about merit
go, let's
explaining
go
the
time.
difference. Oh, that doesn't quite fit on my screen. Sorry, hang on. Boom, let's fix that. God, so amateur, guys. So amateur. And little Luigi is just in the way. There we go. So.
Such an amateur. Such an amateur.
Such an amateur. It is merit that explains differences of wealth between two individuals. So again, you've all seen the prompts. You've all seen the process. We all know the format. I assume the two of y'all are old hands at this. You don't have any questions. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that 3 minutes on the clock for you, Tyler. Go ahead and kick it off for us.
The prompt this evening is going to be about merit. It's about whether merit explains the differences in wealth between two individuals. So what does that mean? It has to be based on things like social status, position, ability to work hard. Merit is virtuous. First step, defining and showing my goalposts. Since the context of merit can shift definitionally where it's being used and how it's being used, I'm going to be using demonstrated ability or achievement, and specifically for the examples I'll tap into, a quality deserving praise or approval, a virtue. Now, with every claim, this is not going to be absolute. We're going to have anecdotes, we're going to have examples where things go otherwise, we're going to have all sorts of different variants. I'm going to be judging based on general. Generally, this is correct. And I'm going to use general about 70-75% of the time. This is what we see. It bears out in the data. And despite the fact that these anecdotes that will be brought up exist, they don't define. They're exceptions to the rule. They justify the rule just based on their mere existence in some ways too. So first we're going to talk about economically. I can demonstrate using 50 years of data showing merit in our economy is well established. There are anecdotes about instances where rich people hand down their money. And this is a very small set of circumstances where we generally see this 0.1% of the population hand down their money to their children. Within 2 generations, most of the time it's already squandered. These people aren't the blood and soul of our economy. They're very, very rare instances. What we can see is wealth and worth economically is correlated directly with age, and age is correlated directly with education and experience in the workforce. We're a skill-based economy, completely based off of merit, and what warrants a higher paying job is education, experience, again, which generally correlate directly with age. Everyone here who's gone to college has seen, after they're done with school in their early 30s, an entry-level job pays significantly less than a senior level position in the same exact field. That is merit. That is merit in the works in your pay cycle in ways that we take for as granted because we've just been seeing it our whole lives. So moving swiftly to what is that merit? And my second point tonight is going to be in the workplace. Merit in the workplace itself is a big factor that's going to just show essentially that I'm right here. So nepotism and favoritism do exist, Absolutely going to say that not going to say that they don't. But again, these are exceptions to the rule, and they're not only exceptions to the rule, they hurt the person that's doing them because instead of having the best candidate available, they're now getting a worse selection. And the third thing we're going to get into tonight is going to be in terms of social merit and the crowd of people that are around you, the people that'll maybe get you into that next job, the friend circle, your ability to make or push away people based on your actions and your merit and your virtuous actions. So we're going to get into all three of those tonight.
Okay. Vigilante, 3 minutes is on the clock. It is your time for cross-examination. Hit him where it hurts.
Okay, so first question. Who had more merit, Nikola Tesla or Thomas Edison?
Who had more merit? I don't, in the specific examples, I don't know generally most of their lives. I know that Edison probably didn't invent most of the things that his company oversaw the inventing of, so I'd have to guess Tesla, but just merit alone doesn't guarantee success. Well, hard work or a new innovation alone doesn't guarantee success. There's many more factors to merit. Like you could be a hard worker at McDonald's and never make it to the upper middle class because you never went out and got a skill set education and applied those skill set and your hard work to the right place. So there's more factors than just having more a new invention or more hard work.
Yeah, so we can agree that Tesla probably had more merit. Who made more money?
Well, I'd have to say Edison. Edison was an investor more than anything.
Okay. Yeah. So what percentage of people that in upper level management positions come from the lower and middle class? Do you know?
Oh, generally, I think it's in the 40s, 50s.
No, it's not. It's a lot lower than that. It's about 30%. Specifically, like if your parents were like food service workers, machine operators, things like that, it's about 30%.
Okay, I can see that. I'd say I can see that could be true, absolutely.
What do you think influences social merit the most?
Oh, social merit. Well, there's the positives and the negatives. I'd say generally being a good person, not lying, cheating, stealing, or doing certain traits that push people away. Maybe if somebody won't stop saying racial slurs, you're going to have to eventually isolate them from your friend group. I'd say in that, being a good person probably is what affects that the most, or in work, being a hard worker with the right attitude.
How much do you think connections and like networking play into like social merit?
To some degree. I'd say some degree sometimes it's a bad thing because it does in some ways promote favoritism, but I'd say to some degree it's an important enough degree for me to bring up in my argument as to how merit could better instantiate your financial situation due to the fact that you've made these networks. You went to college with this guy, he's looking for somebody with your skill set, he's got your phone number, and since you were performing in a way as a human being with him that he likes you, enjoys your company, and wants to call you back, that social merit aspect now carries over into the workforce merit.
So now, would you say that social merit is an actual legitimate form of merit, or is it just people's opinion of somebody, not how they can actually perform?
I'd say it's a legitimate version of merit as well. Like merit in a lot of contexts is broader than just working hard. It's a virtuous characteristics about oneself, and I think it's a very important factor in what you make economically because of that networking aspect, or just keeping a job. If you go into a job with a shit attitude, they're just going to fire you, and that's because you lack the social skills, and that lacking of social skills is generally based off of merit. You didn't go out and build those skills up. You didn't learn how to make those character and chemistry-based relationships in your personal life or your business life in order to maintain that.
All right. Go ahead and put 3 minutes on the clock for you. It is your time to open, Vigilante. I'll start when you do.
Yeah, so the idea that merit is able to be used to explain the wealth gap is nothing more than a fundamental misunderstanding of how capitalism functions in the real world. Merit does not explain the wealth gap, it hides the truth of where it comes from. The systems used to measure and reward merit themselves are tilted towards the people who are already privileged. What it looks like to succeed is more often than not an inherited advantage cosplaying meritocracy. how much you make is based more on the womb lottery than it is degrees that you earn or how hard you work. In upper management and professional occupations, people from privileged backgrounds on average earn 16% more than colleagues from working class backgrounds. If your parent is is in an elite profession, a board member, CEO, VP, etc., your chances of ending up in those positions yourself is 77%. If your parents are in routine occupations like food service, machine operators, things like that, your chances of becoming a part of an elite profession is 30%. Simply put, you are far more likely to succeed if your parents succeeded before you. Research by sociologist Jean Anoy found that from fifth grade on, students in poor communities are groomed for low-skill work, while children in wealthy communities are groomed for professional careers. Sponsorship relationships where senior people champion someone getting promoted are almost never formed on the basis of work performance. Instead, they're built through a sense of class or cultural affinity. Calling that merit is circular. Additionally, top firms often exclude those who didn't attend elite universities. Then they put in an informal recruitment activities framed as assessing how someone fits in the culture, but all it is really meant to do is filter for the class of origin. Even those who have the appearance of coming from nothing, people like Mark Zuckerberg or Bill Gates, in fact, did not, as both of them came from upper middle class families, so they still had a significant wealth advantage. Merit is real, your hard work matters, but the system we live in rewards performative merit rather than merit itself. The wealth gap isn't proof that somebody tried harder, it's proof that some people started closer to the finish line. Capitalism is a casino economy. The more you can dump in, the higher your chances are of winning. Raising your socioeconomic status relies more on your charisma and ability to market yourself than it does your merit. And I'll see my time there.
Yep. 3 minutes is on the clock now for you, Tyler. Cross-examination is yours, sir.
All right, so I'm going to I'm going to address a few different things that you brought up. I just don't know the order. So, as you said in the end, let's go from the back first. Marketing yourself and being able to write a good resume, which is a skill set, being able to have a good conversation and answer questions is a skill set. All these things can be learned easily, sometimes with just courses online, but there's also programs that'll teach you. Those aren't forms of merit, or are they?
I would not consider knowing how to market yourself a form of merit, no.
So you wouldn't consider going and learning a skill in order to do something better, to better fit the situation you're in as merit?
Those are, while they are to an extent learnable skills, they're primarily skills that are groomed upon somebody from the time of their childhood. So, for example, the majority of people in middle and lower class families really aren't taught that kind of stuff, because when we talk about public schools in particular, generally speaking, do not teach people those skills at all.
Well, generally, I grew up in the inner city poor, and I didn't learn those skills either until high school, where I did learn them in classes. So do you think maybe instead we could just go push more toward equality of opportunity? And if you're saying there's a gap there, we could just step in and fix that gap in equality of opportunity, and then we would have the merit-based system, right?
Oh, no, I definitely agree that we need to fix the equality of opportunity, but we need to do that by adjusting the system to be more focused on actual skills-based merit, hard work-based merit, and showing your actual ability to do your job versus the performative bullshit that it is now.
Okay, so another aspect you brought up here is how much you talked about wealth. Now I'm going to get into how different forms of merit, like learning skills, going to college, getting certificates and licenses, generally impact income significantly more than what you said coming from a wealthy family does. But coming from a wealthy family, wouldn't that be your parents demonstrating merit, going out, getting a high degree, going and working hard, saving up money, buying a house, and doing all the things right to pass down to you? Is merit something that you have to give up at the end of your life and your kids have to start from scratch in order to be merit for you?
I wouldn't. Oh, so I wouldn't consider wealth merit. And as far as that goes, I wouldn't necessarily say that merit is something that can be inherited as either. So when we talk about like what the ability that your parents had, that has nothing to do with you, other than they had money that was able to buy you a position or buy you better education.
Let's just take the rest in the cross.
Sounds good. 10 minutes is on the clock. You gentlemen go ahead and just keep rolling.
Okay, I got one more question for you, but I'm going to start to go into those details that I brought up earlier. So, generally, well, you were kind of saying about how management is only 30% of people in the lower classes make it to management. Well, why is that? Generally, they lack the skill set. They lack the particular skill set to manage people. And that's something that you can build up with training. You can take a 2-year business degree at a college and get that. There's all sorts of management training courses you can take, certificates. Generally, when somebody goes out and gets a certificate, they make 28% more than people in their same circumstances that work a similar job without a certificate. That alone completely dwarfs the number that you gave us for having more affluent parents. On top of that, we can look into degrees as well, the bachelor's degree specifically. Now, what we see generally is that 59% of people in the United States see poverty for at least 1 year based off census data. And this usually directly correlates with age. When people are in poverty, they're usually in their early 30s. That's when the vast majority of people that see poverty are in poverty. Granted, we only have 10.6% of our country in poverty right now, but 59% of people see it. That means people are seeing poverty and rising out of it. When we look at the higher end numbers, though, we see 73% of the country makes it to the top 20% of income earners for at least a year. 13% makes it to the top 1%. 39% makes it to the top 10% for at least a year. And generally, all those things directly correlate with age. As you get older, as you get in your 40s and your 50s, that's the economic bracket that you start making upper middle class money, about $150,000 per household a year. It almost completely pans out perfectly with age, experience, and education being the reason why people earn more money. And those things are fundamentally the definition of merit.
I can agree that with the education aspect of that. However, there is a fundamental problem with looking at the education aspect of it. Education is gatekept behind money. In order to be able to get the education merit, you have to be able to pass by and get the money to be able to get that education. And even if you go the route of like taking student loans, you put yourself in debt for the next 20 to 30 years and end up economically struggling because you had to take upon that debt.
Okay, but also that for poor people in particular, we have equity programs, one like the Pell Grant, others are tax breaks, there's all sorts of programs you can apply for grants, transportation, things like that. So poor people, I did it myself, I came from poverty, went and put myself through school with 1.5 jobs at the time, and I actually got money back from the government from the Pell Grant because of my economic situation. They paid me to go to school, and now I'm in pretty damn close to that upper middle class number on at least my end of the household, and it was all paid for. I didn't go into debt at all. So I would say that we have that covered.
We don't, not even remotely close. Do you know how much the Pell Grant is?
Oh, generally it has a lot to do with, FAFSA has a lot to do with the program that you're going into. So if you're in like a community college and getting, there's some variance.
I'm specifically talking about the max a Pell Grant you can receive.
Oh,
you know how much that is? It's
No.
$5,000. The max Pell Grant that you can receive is $5,000. On top of that, the $5,000 that you can receive per year on the Pell Grant doesn't even cover one semester of college. So if you go to anything other than a technical school, you have to take loans.
Which, that's part of the job, and that's part of it. Like a loan is an investment in your future.
On top of that, with the Pell Grant, do you know what the actual qualifier is for how much you get from the Pell Grant?
I'm looking, it's about $8,000 cap right now, by the way.
They must have raised it a little bit.
And it can get
Whenever I
potentially
was
up to
taking college classes, it was
12,000.
5.
Yeah, you can potentially up to 12,000 based on other circumstances as well.
So, do you know where the qualifiers for how much you get? I mean, even 12,000. That still doesn't doesn't cover a full semester of college. It doesn't even cover half.
It does cover a lot. And then they also cover things like transportation and other aspects as well. Your books fees, the time you lost at work. You also get tax cuts for it. There's also several other programs and grants you can apply for as well. So that like you're right that there is an advantage for a small percentage of people that got inherited money, but for the 98% of people that don't inherit almost anything at all besides maybe a life insurance policy, that option is generally there for them, and that's how we have the high college education rate that we do in the country. I think it's like 36% of people have bachelor's degrees. Or up, sorry. 36 or up.
Yeah, but even if we look at that, yeah, that helps you move from like the poor to like being middle class. That helps you move from the lower middle class to the upper middle class. But like even if we look at like the people that actually make it to the top 1%, statistically speaking, do you know how many of them actually end up the ones that go from the lower class all the way up to the upper class? Do you know how many of them actually have a college degree?
Oh, generally it's much, much lower. I have the numbers pulled up. Usually an adult in the ages of 40 to 54, I think I looked at the data for. 40 to 54, those are the people that dominate the upper middle class. They have degrees like twice, almost 70%. And then if you go down to the bottom 20% and look at the exact same age bracket, they are the least educated people, and they're somewhere making about $40,000 a year. So I would say that your point is kind of argues to my point in that if you put forth the merit,
I'm talking about
I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the people that make it from like the middle and lower class to the top 1%. Do you know how many of those people? Because we have multiple examples. We have multiple examples that we can go through. We can go through like Mark Zuckerberg. We can go through like Jeff Bezos. We can go through like Bill Gates.
Wait, America has educated people?
Wait, hey.
Oh, hold on. None of those people. Yeah, none of those people at the time that they made their money and became millionaires and shit actually had a degree. A lot of them are actually college dropouts.
Okay, but like you're taking extremely rare examples of individuals, and I'm looking at 50 years worth of data for 340 million Americans, potentially 500 million because of the length of the data. We have more people dying off and joining the workforce. So this data has shown what I'm saying is true for 50 years, and you're like, look at this rare extreme example where somebody invented something revolutionary and got rich, but wasn't actually somebody that like worked hard and went to school. There's a ton of people that work hard, go to school, and work their way up. As I said, 59% of people see poverty usually when they're in their 20s and 30s, and then they turn around and they see upper middle class income in their 40s and 50s. 73% of people make it to upper middle class income for at least a year, and it's generally within 45 to 50 or 40 to 54 range. And it has to do with your skills and your education. It is a skill-based economy. You can go on Indeed right now, and everything I'm saying is 100% true. If you have a CompTIA degree and you go apply for a networking job, you're immediately going to get put into level 2, which pays you $20,000 more than level 1, which is somebody that's either entering the field or doesn't have these certifications. Certifications and degrees elevate your pay drastically, and that is the definition of meritocracy. And again, you can keep bringing up Mark Zuckerberg and all these rare examples, Elon Musk and things like that have these weird things that don't fit the norm. But I'm talking like 90% of people are on the norm that I'm talking about, and it shows perfectly in the data.
Yeah. So, but the majority of that is based off of what you called social merit, which isn't actually merit; it's just charisma. And charisma is not a merit skill. It's your ability to market yourself. It's your ability to do things like what we're doing right now in social speak and doing social skills and speaking. merit, and that is not a teachable skill. That is something that comes naturally to you. You can't teach somebody charisma.
You can teach people public speaking, absolutely. You can teach people how to go. There's mock interviews, there's interview training, there's resume writing training, there's job hunting training, there's every single small skill necessary for you to compete in the job market. You can go get free training right now on YouTube or from different like state, local aids and things like that, jobs fair programs, all sorts of things that take a cut when they get you hired at a job and things like that. Those are skills, and those can be taught and are taught all the time from like the 10th grade level up.
You can teach people public speaking, but that doesn't teach them charisma. We can use a couple of the recent political people that have run for office as an example. Take Vivek Ramaswamy, who's running in my state again for the fucking governor for some goddamn reason. The motherfucker talks like he would have obviously had that training because he came from a rich family. He's rich himself. He is able to do public speaking. All public speaking classes do is teach you how to not stutter and shit like that. But in reality, the motherfucker doesn't have any charisma. He talks like he's just Chat GPT incarnate.
I don't think employers are looking for you to have the most riz when you walk in. They're looking at your skill set, but there's a baseline level of skills in order to demonstrate that skill set, in order to write a proper resume that's eye-catching so they see the things that you want them to see, in order to go in and perform well. You don't have to be fucking Jim Carrey in a job interview. You're right, charisma is a trait and not a skill you can learn, but you can emulate some of the steps to give yourself an artificial riz. At the end of the day, you don't need it. That's not the parts I'm talking about. The parts I'm talking about are being able to go out and effectively communicate. And all these things are taught. And there's, again, classes for them. You can go take classes to learn how to drive better. It's not mandatory. In my state, it's a constitutional carry, but you can still go take gun safety training and get certified through the state to be a licensed carrier. It's not necessary, but it just looks better. These things look more official, and they carry that aura of credentialism. Now, sometimes, even in your example early on, credentialism can be misused. But when people at top firms, as you said, these very rare top 1%, 0.1% of the firms that don't really fit the general that I'm talking about, when they do that favoritism based off of credentialism, they're not engaging in meritocracy. They're engaging in credentialism, and that hurts them more than it helps them. If that school starts putting out subpar workers because maybe they took a bunch of Qatari money and started teaching anti-Israeli propaganda and stopped teaching the subject that they should have done, like they say that is the instance, then suddenly the quality of the people you're getting is diminished because you're not actually using merit anymore, you're using credentialism. So I'd argue your examples often are people straying away from meritocracy for other things. Essentially, your anecdotes are proving my point.
All right. So, time's out. Let's go ahead and jump in there with some questions. I have a fucking shit ton of them, but I only get one myself, so hopefully the judges are going to pick up my slack here. We're going to go to you first, Tyler. Okay. So, you put forth the idea that the parents' merit, or the merit of the parents, was what leads to the head start that the next generation gets. Mm-hmm. If that's the case, how do you explain? Okay. Are you implying that the child or the offspring inherits the skill set and or the drive of the parent? Or are you simply saying that the accumulated wealth of the parent gives them the springboard?
I'd say that it's what we strive for is a quality of opportunity that doesn't equate to a quality of options. So when somebody does go out and earns a ton of money and puts it in a savings account for their kid, what they're doing is they're setting up their child to have a higher amount of options to what they can do, different array of schools they can go to because that money was put in. But the equality of opportunity says, while that group of individuals does this with their own private money, we also have to have our government function that allows people that don't have that, the vast majority, to also go ahead and apply for this, which is why we set up government student loans, government grants, government equity to bring that lower economic class up. So I would say that springboard is essentially because their parents use their merit and their good decision making to put that money aside. But no, it doesn't carry over in merit for the child. All it does is give them a higher amount of options on where they want to go in life. I would say actually that the kids of rich people probably have less appreciation for the value of a dollar and aren't the most meritocratic people because they have that spoon in their mouth. And often once you get them on the job market, some kid that busted his ass to get there is going to run circles around them.
Okay. Ancom, go ahead with the question, sir.
All right. Which do you believe has more influence in success? Who you know or what you know?
Wow, that's a big question, honestly. Like, it sounds so simple, but it's so over encompassing. I would go like, fuck. Because if you do know the right people, literally, you can, get away with a lot of shit. If you're fucking a Kennedy, you could have a dead hooker in your car crashing into a lake. She dies, and you just kind of go on being a senator for 20 years and nobody cares. Like, there is a degree of that. I don't think until human beings stop being human beings, we're never going to get rid of it. But I would say at the end of the day, what you know is probably the more important factor in the long run. Because again, if you just hire people you know, and you hire your buddies and you hire your friends, and you're trying to compete in a market with other people that are hiring the best for the job, you're always going to fall behind. The invisible hand of the free market takes its toll on you once you start picking outside of merit. So I'd say at the long term, I would say what you know is more important, but who you know is also very valuable.
Okay, your turn, sir. Hit him with a
All
question.
right. So, Mr. Average, with capital investment being the majority of wealth that drives the divide between Americans, what amount of meritocracy justifies the difference between those who grow crops, code apps, versus those who buy homes, land, and stock?
Could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry.
Yes, I can. With capital investment being the majority of wealth that drives the divide between Americans, what amount of meritocracy justifies the difference between those who can grow the crops, code the apps, versus those who simply buy homes, land, or stocks to grow their wealth?
I don't think that merit is 100% the factor that distinguishes them, because in a way, there's also the personal choice of what you want to get into. When you're, I'd like to follow my dad's footsteps, take over his farm, and continue picking the crops. Like, at the end of the day, you're making a decision to decide the means that you're going to live in. So I don't think merit is judged and measured at that broad level of just income. Sometimes you could just want to spend 80 hours a week trading on Wall Street, sniffing coke, banging hookers, like in what the fuck is that movie called? The Leo movie. It's funny. Wolf of Wall Street. But at the end of the day, like, you have to choose what's in your own means. I don't think merit is distinguished on that broad of a level. I'm looking on the individual merit level. So really, you're just kind of letting the market is picking what it wants to pay you based on market factors. So sometimes those people just aren't going to make as much money.
Right. Ancom, you already asked him a question, right? Okay. That's all the questions for Tyler. I just want to make sure I don't want to fuck up again. All right. Now we're going to go over to you, Vigilante. Okay. So the funny thing is, I had written this question down when you said it the first time, and then you guys circled back to it towards the ending, but I still didn't feel like I understood your perspective on this. So if you do not believe, you put forth that charisma is not a merit, or is not meritorious. If you believe that charisma is not something that can be taught, learned, or developed, then how do you explain what we are literally doing here and the improvements that we see in the delivery, charisma, and rhetoric of the debaters as they practice?
So it's not necessarily that it can't be learned. You can learn it through practice, but it's not something that charisma is not something that can be taught. You can't teach somebody how to be charismatic. You can teach somebody how to do like inflection and stuff, which is something that I struggled how to do whenever I first started doing this. But it's it's a lot more than just like knowing like when to or how to do inflection. You got to know when to do inflection. You got to know what the audience that you're speaking to is to be able to put forth the correct points in a way that are presented in a way that the people who are the ones listening will actually be able to digest what you're saying. It's being able to improve your public speaking and being able to do inflection. There's a lot more to charisma than just that.
Ancom, your question for Vigilante.
Come back to me. I'm having trouble coming up with a question.
Roger that. Kay, what you got for him?
Yeah. Vigilante. With social mobility so flexible in the United States, how do you explain the ability to navigate the system, flaws included, to become wealthy, versus those who don't do this and sometimes lose it, if not for meritocracy?
Yeah, so I was actually going to bring this up in my opening. It's not as flexible as it may appear, or in my closing. It's not as flexible as it may appear. Statistically speaking, the number of generations it takes for a family who actually can keep themselves on track and make it to the upper middle class of the 1% is 5 generations. It takes 5 generations of your family to actually become upwardly mobile enough to progress your family into another class. It's not the in America we have a lot of the illusion of social mobility, but we don't have as much social mobility as people like to think that we do.
Okay. And are you any closer, Ancom?
Sadly, no.
No worries.
Okay, can I ask another question then?
Kay, do you by chance have a second question?
I will give Kay the second question here.
All right, go ahead, Kay.
Okay. You keep on saying that this isn't meritocracy, this isn't merit, this isn't a meritable skill. So tell us, what are meritable skills, simply put, from your perspective? Because it seems like there isn't any.
So what I would consider merit is 1, your credentials and knowledge, and 2, how well you can actually perform those things.
Can I ask for more elaboration on what a skill is?
Sure.
What's a skill?
I mean, there are a lot of different types of skills. So like when we would take a job, for example, like the ability to code would be a skill. The knowledge of the law, I guess you could probably consider that a skill. Being able to effectively play video games is technically a skill. Skills are things that you have to learn as well as put a lot of effort in to be good at them.
Good stuff. All right, everybody. So we have made it through our Q&A, and we are going to be coming down to our closings now. Everybody out there in the chat, remember, we're going to be getting that same vote we've been doing the whole night. This is going to be to see who you thought put on the best performance. I'm going to put 3 minutes on the clock for each of the debaters. We're going to start with you, Tyler. This is your closing time. Use as much of it as you need to. Go ahead and put a cherry on top.
All right, now Vidge did a good job here of pointing out a ton of situations that are either not merit-based or invalidate what I'm saying with anecdotal billionaires and such, and I just don't feel as though these, as the negative, his role is to attack my positive. I don't feel like these anecdotes did enough to attack the general statement I was making. I hope the judges feel the same way, but these anecdotes and these rare examples, to me, don't disprove the general, and the general is well laid out in data. Some of these examples even were against meritocracy, like favoritism based on hiring he brought up before, or credentialism, I think was the specific example. These top 1% of firms are hiring from the top 1% of institutions. That's not meritocracy. That's not what I'm defending. I'm saying that meritocracy would give them a better result, and since they're not using it, they're actually hurting themselves. So several of his examples were people leaving meritocracy, which they have the option to do as business owners. They're not obligated to do best practice, but it is best practice. So again, I have 50 years of census data, and going through it really briefly again, 59% of the United States sees poverty wages for at least a year, but we only have about 10% of people in poverty at a time, meaning they go through this poverty bracket and do not stay there. They go through the lowest bracket and work their way up. Now, generally, this age group is people in their late 20s and early 30s. And then when they grow older, another decade, they tend to move to the middle class. And then when they grow older, another decade, they tend to move to the upper middle class. Again, I'll repeat it, 73% of U.S. born or U.S. workers make it to the top 20%. That's 60% that were in poverty for at least a year, and then 73% making it to the top 20% of income earners. There's a massive carryover between those two groups. That is showing economic mobility is vast. Going into the top 10%, 36% of the United States makes it to the top 10% of income earners for at least a year. 13% makes it to the top 1% for at least a year. Now this shifts. Sometimes people make it there and then they say, okay, we're making enough money. Let's buy a house, scale down the hours, have a kid. Or maybe I want to, I made it here. We're making all this money. Let's relax a little bit, go retire. But when you see people hitting these higher brackets, the definitionally, what makes them there, we have the roadmap that's clearly laid out for us. You never started the timer, by the way. The roadmap that's clearly set out for us here is what gets them there. Education, experienced, hours worked, education level, certification level. These things are significantly higher the more you move up in the economic brackets. People with more skills, more education, more hours worked, and more certifications or official licenses for what they do earn money. We see a direct divide between people working very similar jobs that one requires a license, one does not. It's about 28% wage difference alone. So these things are the definition of merit. Going out and building a skill set, going out and learning an education, going out and doing these things. Now, not everybody can afford that. That's absolutely true. And that's where our government steps in. And as a neo-Keynesian, I absolutely love that our government steps in and offers student loans to people for often very low rates. And it's contrary to what you might think with people having trouble paying off their student loans, about 90% of them get paid off on time with no problem. It's often people going to school for skill sets that don't turn around and demonstrate in a high-paying job that allows them to do that. So I would argue upward mobility is strong, it bears out very well in the data, and it's based off of building meritocratic skills that factor into what the job market is currently demanding. And those go from the job level to the social level. Marketing yourself, building a good resume, doing all these things is part of that as well. So I'd say merit is living strong and bears out in the statistics the reason why our society functions the way it does.
All right, because I'm an idiot, he didn't use the whole thing, so I'm just going to put an extra minute on it for you, Vigilante. So you've got up to 4 minutes because I'm pretty sure that Tyler used a little bit more than 3. So go ahead and start us up whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, people from privileged backgrounds on average earn 16% more than their colleagues that are from working class backgrounds. One of the big reasons for this is because of networking and social skills that are mostly networking, and the networking that is able to be done by their parents. Effectively, what is trickle-down merit, which Tyler brought up earlier, where he brought up the merit of somebody's parents and how that can affect this. He acknowledges that people can start closer to the finish line and how starting closer to the finish line is an advantage. Because I didn't really define it well before, in my own opinion, the actual definition of merit is the quality of being particularly good or worthy, especially as to deserve praise or reward. Mm-hmm. He brings up the 70% flux based on age. This is not based on merit. This is based on age. Age is not merit definitionally. Just because you are older doesn't mean you are particularly good at something. Just because you're older doesn't mean you are more worthy.
I never said that, though.
This I counter what I was saying earlier about upward mobility, but this doesn't display that our upward mobility is actually based off of merit. While merit is real, merit might actually be pretty important on getting yourself a job. That doesn't mean you are going to be paid properly on getting that job. And it doesn't even merit doesn't even guarantee you getting that job, because what matters more when getting a job is social skills, charisma. Charisma and social skills are 10 times more important than merit. As long if you have that merit and you can't market yourself, it doesn't fucking mean shit. And social merit is not a thing. Being able to market yourself is not a form of merit. The wealth gap isn't proof that some people tried harder. Once again, unfortunately, some people start closer to the finish line, as my opponent has agreed. Unfortunately, people that win the womb lottery have a 77% chance of succeeding. Your parents succeeding before you gives you a significantly higher chance of success. That is not merit. That is, simply put, winning like you're at a casino, because your parents already had money. And I'll see the rest of my time there.
Right at the 3-minute mark where it was supposed to be. Good job. All right. So there were a couple of mistakes, mostly from my part there, but we made it through the night, everybody. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to go ahead and put the vote for this poll into the chat. I'm also going to go ahead and put it up here for you. Control V, and boom, there you go. The same thing is in the chat for you now, Tyler. So you can share it with your own chat. So again, chatters, go ahead and click that link. Give us a vote. Tell us what you think, who you think delivered the best perspectives, the best
rhetoric. Who's in my chat? Chat.
But we're going to see what the judges think first.
Chat, go press yes.
Hoping that
go vote yes, chat.
You're ready to deliver. Are you ready to render judgment, sir?
Yes, I am. Right. So anyone who knows me probably knows how I personally feel about this particular topic. And when that happens, in order to try and offset my own bias, I tend to try to judge it by whether the side that I agreed with argued it as effectively as I think it could have been argued. In this particular instance, I think Vigilante brought the statistics, brought the anecdotes, brought the emotional arguments about as well as I could have expected. That said, I do think Tyler gave him a run for his money in how he responded to a lot of those arguments and a lot of those statistics, especially by bringing his own, which I think quite successfully countered those. All that being said, and you know how much I hate doing this horseradish because it's just, I don't like giving ties. But I
no.
Despise it.
All right.
That's the second one, you fucking scumbag.
All right, so you guys heard that, chat. This means that your vote is going to be super duper critical right now, regardless of what Kay says. You guys are going to have a huge impact here. So, Kay.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying, Adcom, you need to talk to my fiance with how hard you just edged me. Like, Jesus Christ, brother. You guys need to have a conversation. That was not consensual. I was blue-balled hella there. What the fuck?
I think we all were.
That being said, I'm going to be aggressive with this, but Tyler and Vidge, I love you guys. This is theatrical, but chatters, we have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, lied to, and this whole debate has been bullshit, because if you guys pay attention, they didn't even actually argue what the debate prompt is about. They lied to us this whole time. This is about whether merit explains the wealth between two individuals. They talked about the opportunity between two individuals. These are not the same idea. All right. That being said, to give my score, I'm going to just go out and say 7-3. Affirmative takes this because our boy Tyler here was able to send Vigilante on this whole side quest. He basically made him argue a false premise the entire time on whether people have opportunity, not whether the wealth difference is accounted for here, which they are tied somewhat. And Tyler did, manage to try to bridge those connections enough, which is why he's going to get it. But like this whole time, man, Vigilante lost this because he was debating whether people have opportunity rather than arguing the debate question of wealth difference. The debate doesn't ask about the opportunity. It asks about drastic wealth difference in America and whether that is explained by merit. I also think that Vigilante doesn't know what skills are and what merit is by saying that social skills aren't really a skill and doesn't show merit. And I think that showed during this debate because he has that opinion. One question for Tyler also, what the fuck is with you answering questions the way that like Trump does? Stay away from the MAGA streams in the future because it's showing. Fuck all of you for making me judge this. All right, thank you. 7-3.
No worries. No, I'm glad you had to, and I appreciate it. So, like I said, this is going to kind of come down to you, audience. Please click that link, give us your opinion, let us know where you landed on this. I definitely have some of my own thoughts, and what's funny is both of the judges sort of said the same thing, they just came up with a different number for it. So that said, last one, and I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the countdown as well. Yeah. Let's see.
Again, just saying, I love both of you. And Vish, I love you. And Average Debate,
close.
I love you.
It's fucking close. I'm gonna give you guys 10 seconds, chat. 10 seconds to lock in a fucking vote because this is I do not want this to go to a tie. So 10.
I want it to be a tie.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're locked in. So let's see where it landed. 60-40 for the affirmative. So good. We did not end up with a tie. I was really hoping we wouldn't have a tie because Tyler has had multiple ties. He's not wrong. So, but that was a close one, 60-40. Say what?
If that was a tie, wouldn't Tyler have still won because Kay gave him points? Or
well, if the chat went the other way,
the points are for the rankings, not for the decision. It's each judge and the audience is 3 votes. So it was a tied vote, making that one neutral. That means that there's 2 votes. It could have ended up a tie if the chat would have gone for Vigi. Then it would have been a finalized tie. But again, like I said, the points are just for the rankings. So, all right. Fucking hell. So great job, everybody. So I'm just going to put this out there and we're going to get into this in a second. But it's funny you said that, Kay, because one of my things here was social skills versus social merit. I thought it was interesting, Vigi. I actually saw it a different way, where you were talking about how Tyler was having Vigilante go down a different rabbit hole. But in the opening, I thought it was interesting. Actually, no, it was before the opening. It was during the cross-examination. Vigilante was holding to the concept of social merit as opposed to business merit or any other form of merit. He used the term social merit 3 or 4 times in his cross-examination and his opening. So I was surprised when later on he was talking about how charisma, like the baseline social skill, was not considered to be a merit. So I told you I had a bunch of fucking questions and I want to hear him parse that out. So, go ahead.
I was using the term social merit because Tyler used it, and then that's why, like during my opening statement, I flipped it around and never used that word again.
Got you. Okay, so it was only during maybe. Okay, that checks out. That maybe I'll have to go back and listen to the VOD and go through that. So, all right, great job, everybody. Well, hang on. Nope. We're gonna go. We're gonna work our way backwards. So we'll start with this one, and then we're gonna go backwards through the 3 prompts, and we're gonna take a little bit of time on each of them. But I do need to give out my personal vote for the night, and I think everybody here, even though everybody did a great job, and everybody put in their best work here. Fucking Castle, bro, MVP, easy win, dude. You put in the best fucking performance I have seen you ever put in here, and I appreciate it. Charisma, you were on the point. I actually have to ask you, were your opening and closing both pre-written?
Yeah, they were both pre-written.
Dude, you read those like they were fucking off the dome. You read those so fluidly that they seemed like it was just your thoughts. Like they came out perfectly. So, I mean, I'm just saying, it seemed like a developed skill of charisma. So
the ending was definitely more on a whim because I was writing as things were going on. So, but yeah, the beginning was definitely written.
I was thinking about bringing you up as an example because the first time I got you on Grid Show, you were like a block of wood.
and yeah, like I said,
Castle.
I told Castle, too in the DMs, I was like, I get a lot of feedback, and so when people give me feedback, I try to get better. So like, even for Red, I think when people were saying like, the more you do it, the better you get, the more you improve. So like, over the next weeks or months, it'll be interesting to see how his debate skills will improve, like mine have. So it's great. It's been good.
Yeah, 100%. And not to give myself a reach around here, but I kind of feel like this format with the timing and the being able to actually good faith and be able to actually hear each other out, et cetera, and not have somebody just constantly just fucking talking over you over and over and just insulting you and just disregarding, yelling at. I feel like this is probably helping with that a little bit. So that said, thank you all for participating tonight. As always, I appreciate every fucking one of you guys. I'm going to my back teeth are floating, so I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go grab the whiskey. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. We're gonna stay with this one first. I'm gonna open the floor up. Just go ahead and start talking, and everybody weigh in.
Wait, stay with which one? The one we just did?
Yeah, the one we just did. Like I said, we're gonna go backwards because I also know that some people. Does anybody have a hard out?
I have a hard on.
Is your hard out? Is your hard on out? No, okay. I know that Tyler usually has to get to bed somewhat earlier, so that's why I'm kind of moving backwards. Okay, well, fuck.
His mom is letting him stay up. Don't call him out like that, please. Come on. Come on.
Okay.
All right. So
I guess we're gonna start then.
Oh, sorry. His mommy. He clarified. His mommy.
Exactly.
No, that is mommy.
Anyways, all right. Go ahead and keep talking. I will be right back. Y'all have it.
Real quickly, so I'm gonna start off by somebody saying like, while I was on Vigi's side, at least with what the original prompt was, unfortunately Tyler took it off and turned it into something different. I do have to say that it was definitely the most L take to hear charisma cannot be taught. I truly believe it can.
Yeah.
It's definitely a skill that can be taught.
It killed me to hear.
I know for a fact it can be, because I'm the goddamn Riz master now, and I fucking before didn't know how to even like look at a. Like I learned it from. I end up learning it or teaching myself it through various different means. Anime.
Okay, you lost charisma points for that.
Okay, bro.
Vish might be right. The charisma can be learned. He just demonstrated it. Holy shit.
I also think you guys misunderstand what I mean by it can't be taught. I'm not saying that you can't teach yourself charisma. I'm saying that other people cannot teach you how to be charismatic.
Well, why not? Like, why? Okay, why do you think that?
I would say the way that it.
How
the
much?
way that it.
Like, I think that I think there's a limit to how much can be taught versus how much is innate. It's a bit like sports, right? You can learn how to play a sport. The more you practice at it, the better you can get. But you are only a select few will ever be professional athletes, because there is a certain amount of it that is inherent, that cannot be taught or learned or developed. everyone has natural gifts and abilities, things that they excel at over others. And so education and practice can help close that gap somewhat, but there is a limit, there is diminishing returns. So I generally think that charisma is among those things that has the greatest difficulty to close the gap. Someone who is naturally charismatic is almost always going to be better at convincing people, better at socializing people than someone who does not have that natural talent, even as much as they might try to learn, try to practice, etc.
Goat take.
Sorry, may I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but I think charisma is something you can be taught. Like, just talk to yourself in the mirror. You know?
No, I think most of us are agreeing with that.
Charisma is a skill you can be taught.
Yeah, I'm not saying it can't be taught necessarily, but I'm saying that charisma is one of those things that is the hardest to teach, the hardest to learn, and the hardest to develop as compared to someone who is naturally charismatic already. And the amount that natural talent can be increased by these methods is greater than someone without that natural talent can be increased.
Like as Ancom said, there's there's definitely with the sport analogy, you can be taught techniques, and it takes you practicing those techniques in order to hone and become better at said rizzing. And there's also the case of it's also the case of repetition, like the numbers, a numbers game when it comes to rizzing specifically.
Yeah, it's not just practice and repetition that I'm talking about. In the sports analogy, especially, there are factors that are completely outside an individual's direct control. You have genetic factors for muscle mass, hand-eye coordination, stamina, all of these different factors that play in and have just as much influence on athletic performance as practice and skills and techniques and all this stuff. And I'm saying charisma is very much like this. There is, the way that your brain happens to be wired from birth and development, and how you're able to recognize the multitude of nonverbal signs that we all give off in interactions.
Well,
the ability or the ability to recognize and capitalize off of those is something that some of it can be taught, but the vast majority, in my opinion, is a natural talent that you can only bring so far by education if you don't already have
I think there's a massive factor that was part of my argument that you're leaving out is not just education, it's experience. And experience also is going to give you some of those situations that you run into that you don't know how to address, but it's the comedian that goes on stage and throws up the first time and then their 10th time on stage. They're used to it. They're used to the pressure. They're used to it. Experience is a factor of just being more familiar with those situations and comfortable. Education and experience were the two factors I was listing that correlate with age.
Education and experience to me are the same thing.
Can I just say this?
How you learn a skill is irrelevant to the fact that you are learning the skill, right? Even in the case you gave with comedians, yes, getting over stage fright is something that can be learned. How to write jokes that people find funny, that is far less so. That is far more.
I don't think it's learned. Yeah, I think it's something you grow comfortable with. That's the point. Yeah. The being funny part is the talent part that you can't. Yeah, absolutely. You can learn joke structure.
Can I interject?
But hold on, let me just finish the
ahead.
point real quick. The
Okay.
talent
Yeah, well,
part.
yeah, sorry, yeah, let Tyler finish.
The talent
So-
part, absolutely, I agree with you on. But it's the part that the comfort with being on stage is not something you can be taught. It's something you have to grow comfortable with. That's where experience differentiates from education, in my opinion. Is the growth that you have to do emotionally, not just scholastically. So.
Red?
What are you going to say, Red?
Oh, just my 2 cents is that my belief is that charisma is developed over time by just being a social person. It's not wired into you internally, you know? Like
There are some people, yeah, that's true. There are some people who are just straight up introvert, of like say their middle to high school years, but then through exposure therapy, having an extrovert friend drag you out of the house, you end up becoming more extroverted themselves. So, but I want to go ahead and go back to what the actual prompt was when it came to merit merit is the difference between wealth to individuals.
oh
And
yeah,
I'm
sorry,
gonna
we were doing that.
let's move back to the actual thing. What the actual thing was, like, charisma was like a
Yes, let's
small
stop
thing I wanted
talking
to
about charisma.
so
we're
with
gonna
the
come
whole
back
thing
to
of
charisma.
that,
Don't worry.
yeah, when
I'll mute.
is merit that explains the difference between differences of wealth between two individuals. Like I said, I'm on Vigi's side with this one, because as it should have been talked about, I don't see anyone who's currently in the highest positions of power having any actual merit. They simply knew someone, Epstein, who got them into their positions of power and or voted in by people who were less educated, who legitimately thought
That's
that
so
the
stupid.
charismatic side, I'll give them that the charisma did help in some of them. Quote, I don't believe that a lot of people who the uber rich right now or super rich actually had any real merit. They had daddy's money and connections, no actual merit.
Well,
So
hold on. What you do with daddy's money matters.
You literally just that was my entire point, buddy.
But yeah, see, that was all argued against, in a sense that, like, most people that inherit wealth generally diminish that wealth
I'm
within
on
two
your side.
generations. So on top of that, like Congress, if you look at Congress, out of any sector, public or private, they are probably the most educated sector. Almost all of them are fucking constitutional lawyers. Like, to say they didn't have merit, not only did they go out and bust their ass in school to learn the skill set,
I didn't say anything about people.
but they
I didn't
won an
say anything
election.
about who were voted in.
They
I wasn't
won
meaning anybody.
elections.
I wasn't meaning just. I'm not saying. I'm saying the people in power. When I say the people in power, I agree. They won election. The people in Congress and Senate, yes, they won elections because yes, they do have.
You're talking about empowered
the skills.
businesses.
Yes, I'm talking power in businesses who currently own majority of those said politicians.
I don't think any politicians are owned. I think that's conspiratorial, just like the
Bruh,
Epstein QAnon stuff.
I'd like to.
We would have that. That's a whole nother fucking debate prompt.
I am still on the boat.
That's the Citizens United debate prompt.
I am
man.
on the vindicated
What's the
boat
Citizens
that
United
Epstein
prompt?
Epstein was a nothing
Tyler
burger.
just made a false
Vindicated.
Oh
Right
my
now.
god.
Yeah, you just got
Tyler
kicked
just made
out
a
of the
false
server.
point.
Thank you, buddy.
Tyler just made a false point claiming that the majority of people that are currently in Congress are educated as lawyers. The vast majority of people who are in Congress are business people.
Senators are usually lawyers, right? Senators
No,
usually
not even that.
do lawyers.
The breakdown actually kind of depends on party. The Republican Party is statistically more likely to elect somebody who is a business owner, and then the Democratic Party is statistically more likely to elect somebody who is either from the working class or is a lawyer.
From the legal field. Gotcha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can
Real quick, Rufus, I want to.
I'm sorry, I
wanna
mean majority. I
jump
meant
in there.
preponderance. The largest percentage of jobs that someone in Congress has is a lawyer. It's the preponderance. I used the wrong word.
I want to push back against what Razor was saying. So it's really easy and it's really fun, especially for the left, to shit on people like Elon Musk, who, yeah, sure, he's a shitbag, or Bill Gates, shitbag, sure. Even fucking Mark Zuckerberg, shitbag, sure.
Especially Mark
But when you look at
Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg, right, it wasn't actually the wealth. My understanding is he dropped out of college, so it wasn't his college that got him there. Yes, he was going to a fairly prestigious college, and yes, he came from an upper middle class family. But at the end of the day, he created a thing from scratch by himself. Okay.
No, he didn't.
He created a
Well,
thing
not by
from scratch
himself.
by himself that he then
Nothing by
turned into
by
a
himself.
billion-dollar business, right?
Well, not quite
So-
by
He did not do
himself.
it
If
by-
I'm not correctly,
he did
he's
not do it
full
by
on-
Okay,
himself.
sure.
Hold
Look,
on.
check it out. I don't do these debates by myself, but I'm the one who fucking schedules them. I'm the one who calls you guys. I'm the one who figures out the prompts. I don't do it by myself, but I started the ball rolling, right? So whether his skill, his merit was in networking, social networking, literally, and finding the people who can do the coding, et cetera, or whatever, he was still the one who came up with the idea. I understand that he took his idea from something that already existed, but he said, I can make that better and I can make it bigger and I can run with it. So my point is, it wasn't mommy and daddy's money that founded Facebook. It was his merit that founded Facebook. And I could say the same thing about Bill Gates. Okay, well, he stole from, what's his name? Not Wozniak. Who was the guy? Was it Wozniak? Whatever. That was Steve Jobs who stole from Wozniak. Gates had his own Wozniak, if I'm not mistaken. The point is, he was the one who said, we can turn this into a business. And all of a sudden, he fucking has more money than God. Elon Musk, similar situation. I understand. He's not the fucking engineer in chief
I kind of just
who
wanted
puts
to
the
keep
actual
him
ships
there.
in space, but he's the
I wasn't
dude
trying to
who
do that
found the dude
intentionally
who
either.
could do that.
I just got him into a
his
tunnel and
merit
he's never
was
stopped.
in that social networking, and it was his
I
merit
didn't know
and
he was
his
gonna plant his
push
flag
that got
there.
these
That's
things past the
weird.
line. Plenty of people who have money lose that money in their ventures.
Okay.
So,
I
I will
think
say real quick.
Can I say something really quickly too?
Can we do one at a time here? Let's pick some people.
I was about to say I might have to put a timer on everybody.
I just real quickly want to give a bit of a small.
Yeah, I was asking. I pushed back against Razor, so Razor's the first person to respond.
Okay, so I'm not gonna fully disagree that merit, especially with like social network with the networking and stuff, like that's understandable. But with what the prompt was, the wealth gap that we currently have between two different individuals, merit definitely doesn't cover that. Because said people that he hired on are obviously doing a lot more. They had a lot more experience to do the things that they're making, and he's still making octuple 20 fucking whatever number times more than that person who did most of the actual work. All he did was say, "Hey, you want a job? Here you go," and that was it.
Commie.
Sure.
That's not all he did. But...
Yeah, I was about to say it's not all he did.
I'm being hyperbole with that last sentence.
That's literal communism.
You hit on something there, and because this was something that was a complaint of mine during the debate. I do not feel like we were able to successfully parse apart what the difference is between income and wealth. I do not believe those are synonyms, and I think that is important to this prompt. Like, it's not about the merit explains the difference of income between two individuals. It's wealth, and wealth is an accumulation of assets. Right? I can make $1,000 a month. And if I invest that property, it's going, or that properly, I'm sorry, it's going to create more and more money, and that's how you get that wealth. That's
what I.
Yep, I know. As opposed to somebody who just blows it on fucking, popcorn and bubble gum and has nothing to show for it afterwards. That person, no matter what their income is never going to accumulate wealth. So now the question is it merit that necessarily explains wealth, or is kind of what the argument from Vigilante was saying, that the inherited wealth, what is the percentage of inherited wealth of the wealth of the nation? I think that would be the question that I wanted to hear answered.
So let me jump in because I have
an opinion.
I made an argument.
Real quick, Tyler, let Groofus, because Groofus has been real quiet and he doesn't talk very loudly, so it's hard for him to interrupt. Go ahead, Groofus.
So I have, I kind of have a sub point. No.
Sorry. Get it out, brother.
Give or take 70% of the world's billionaires are self-made. That's just a little
70%.
Go fuck yourself with that. That's been debunked so many times. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Okay. With that said, then Groofus, put it in the chat. put where you're getting your sources there. I think we all need to see you back that up. We need receipts.
Okay.
What were you going to say now, Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay, so the
can
Yeah, we'll get
arguments.
back. We'll get back to you in
I
a
say
second, Red.
something though?
Yeah, we'll get back to you next, Red. Go ahead, Tyler.
The arguments that I heard brought up, I think I addressed all of them in my argument. So first, Razor was talking about the richest among us, them having this giant amount of money. I basically labeled it as anecdotal and said it doesn't bear out in the data. It's so small it doesn't even change the data based on the vast majority of U.S. citizens and the census data that I had in front of me. So I think I made that argument to dismiss, basically hand wave that away, saying that for 99.9% of people this doesn't apply, and that's like 70 to 75% of the money. I was making a general argument. So all of your arguments could be 100% correct. They just don't hit that point I was making. And for horseradish, your argument was kind of a similar, but you were wondering more on the financial side. I had statistics ready. I started out arguing different income brackets, but I had statistics ready for like housing for those income brackets, like the top 20%, 81% home ownership rate, which is like 10% higher than the average U.S. homeowner, and then the bottom 20%, 47% homeowner rate. So I was ready to tie that income bracket to wealth. We just never replanted our flag somewhere else and stayed there.
But you didn't.
Real quick. Now, what were you going to say, Red? Hey, real quick, before you go, Red, just so everybody who's new knows, you'll hear me talk about this all the time. Bring a notebook. That way you don't have to interrupt. You can write down your thoughts, and whenever it gets to you, you can just be like, okay, so you said this stupid fucking thing, and this is what I think about that, right? So again, holding your thoughts through writing them down is super useful. What were you going to say now, Red?
Well, first off, I will say I apologize because I didn't mean to interrupt or anything.
No apologies needed.
But when you were talking about Elon Musk, and fuck that guy.
For the record,
but
you sound so much like him. It's not even cool. Like, has anybody else noticed that?
No, he doesn't.
Like, I love you, Red, but something about your I think it's your, like, the pacing or the tempo of your talking reminds me of Elon Musk every time I hear you.
Well,
it doesn't.
I know what you mean.
I can for that.
I'm sorry. I don't think there's anything I can do about that.
You're way cooler than him, though.
I have a question.
As we were talking about merit, financially, I just want to say he did make PayPal.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
He bought it.
No, he didn't.
Didn't he make it? No, he started it.
He bought it. No, he bought it. He did.
He bought it?
I was about to address this as well because.
Oh fuck! I thought he created PayPal.
All of the money.
No.
So you can kind of argue that Zuckerberg is like one of the few billionaires that actually got there off of merit because he did program like the initial version of Facebook, but the part that where I was going to address with what Radish said about that you're talking about now, Elon did not make any of his money. Like he got all of it. He got all of it via investments that were paid for by his dad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I had no idea.
Hold on. The internet is telling me that in 1999 he co-founded X.com, an online bank which merged with Confinity, founded by Max Levchin and Peter Thiel, in 2000 to focus on payment systems. This combined entity was later rebranded as PayPal. So he created something called X.com, not what we think of now as X, but so he created something that was later turned into something else.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't like the programmer working on it, though.
Yeah, no. I get that he wasn't the necessary. I'm not the one debating here.
Like he didn't.
I'm just the guy hosting it. But
so we get the history across, let's just go over what Elon Musk did here. All right. So he co-founded X.com. Right? He didn't do it by himself. He co-founded it back in 1999. He co-founded it with 3 other people, so a team of 4. He provided $12 million in funding, which a lot of people can trace this back to his father. Yes, a lot of it traced back to his father, and then they sold it because it was not a full functioning platform at the time. They sold it and somebody else merged it together, and then I think eBay acquired that company that merged together to make it fully functional for like over. It was like over $1 billion. Right? Like what? Like one? It was 1 point something billion.
But then I remember, but if I'm remembering correctly, didn't he then later got himself into the like was it the shareholders or like the executive team of PayPal later? Like he was in it for a minute.
That I don't know. So
like he didn't have.
I think you're right. He was. Yeah, I think he was.
Like he was part of PayPal, and they booted him because he was trying to turn it into another X.com. Because he was obsessed with naming things X for some reason. A lot of people have speculations about that. But yeah, then the owners of PayPal said, "Nah, dude, fuck off," and they booted him.
All right. Yeah. I just want to cut in here real quick to ask Red a question. Based on your accent, I'm guessing you're from the Netherlands?
Yes.
That's why. Okay.
No, he's from South Africa. That's fucking Elon. What's your Diablo score?
Sorry, I'm from South Africa. Everyone, hello. It's very warm here.
How's the apartheid doing?
Yeah, right. and them emeralds.
That shit ended long ago.
Was there a follow-up statement there?
Yes, but I was just informed by my spouse that I have been shouting in order to try and get in. So yeah.
Sorry.
Anyways,
sorry.
The reason I wanted to point that out is because South Africa was primarily colonized by people from the Netherlands, and so their accent is very heavy.
No, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare quote history at him and come.
No. I'm just
you might
saying.
sound similar to Musk is because the South African and Dutch accents have a similar thing to them because the South African language Afrikaans is based on Dutch, and that's where the accent comes from.
Yes,
right,
but
so oh, go ahead.
I will preface it with this: West and East Africa, they speak English and French because it's not like the Netherlands was the only country that colonized Africa. Like the English and the French did it too.
You didn't say
but
that.
it just explains why I
South Africa, actually, in South Africa, they speak Zulu, which has nothing to do with Netherlands at all.
All right, you're getting too defensive here.
I was about to say,
Elon Musk.
you definitely seem to have taken this personally.
His accent finally so his accent randomly went away for a second.
It's his Elon autism. He knows all these factoids.
I'm happy we figured out the accent.
The tie there. So real quick,
Elon Musk is my father, okay?
I am so sorry, my friend. On an equally unrelated and unimportant point, I have to call out something that Tyler said. I believe this was in his. I don't remember if it was in the questioning or in the closing. I have to ask, how did the dead hooker in the trunk still drown?
I don't think she actually. I don't know the exact story.
You said he drove off the bridge with a dead hooker in the trunk and she died.
I don't know if she was okay. I don't know if she was dead while in the trunk before he drove off or after. I don't know the exact details.
So she might have just been sleeping in the trunk. We don't know.
She could have been beaten up and drugged up and like unconscious.
It was just a misspeak. That's
I don't.
I saw this
know.
Eminem song. I listened to it.
Yeah, it's late Chappaquiddick. This is where one of the Kennedys had a hooker in his trunk and killed her.
So
that being said,
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna just ask a question that I just wanted to know this whole time. Now that that's over, do you actually think that the wealth difference is because of merit? I just need to know from Tyler. Like the wealth difference, not opportunity difference, wealth difference. Do you think it honestly is mostly because of merit?
Generally, yes, I do believe. I think there are examples and other things that, I generally believe it.
Bruh.
All right, well, hold on, because my next question relates to UK, to the UK, not at all. So I wrote down, and I don't remember exactly what the question you asked, but the question you asked Tyler seemed at the time to compel him to concede the prompt. And I thought it was interesting that just got slid
Well, you
right
considered the
past.
prompt way before that.
He did
What was
concede the prompts
speci-
once before it. Yeah. Let me bring up the
but
question.
still,
Give
he
me a
like
second.
very clearly conceded, like, okay, well, yeah, that's true. Or it was like
Let me
it,
bring
it
it
was
up.
just,
Give me a.
yeah, please do.
I was born in the UK, if that helps.
It does. That now we totally know you're not Elon.
Ban this man.
Nope.
Give me a second. Okay, so my
Come on,
question
be
for Tyler was, with capital investment being the majority of wealth that drives the divide between Americans, what amount of meritocracy justifies the difference between those who grow crops, code apps, versus those who can buy homes, land, and stock?
And what was your answer to that, Tyler?
It said that just their wealth amount alone isn't enough, and I'm more judging based on more of an individual level, so I gave a non-answer. I dodged the question.
You did. Here's my notes for that, by the way. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah. Here's my fucking note on that. Let me get a. Didn't effectively answer the question. And then what? Give me 1 second. Danced around my question. Didn't answer it. Said, quote unquote, it doesn't. A meritocracy doesn't apply to that level. I'm not focusing on that level.
There you go. Another unrelated to similar to the dead hooker in the trunk. I guess it would be like Schrodinger's hooker. So Tyler, this comes straight from chat. Please, brother, invest $50 and get yourself some foam for your fucking walls.
I'm working
you really
on
do
it.
sound like you're talking to us in an elevator. So
You sound like you're in a tunnel, dude.
yeah,
I'll
an
work on
elevator
it.
would be better, actually. An elevator would be objectively better.
Holy cathedral.
Real quick, I got one more question now for Vigilante because we've only got about 10 minutes left, and then I'll keep my mouth shut for the rest of this prompt. I want to go back to the allegations against charismatic folks. So, and this is purely anecdotal, right? I have been accused a time or three of being a reasonably charismatic gentleman. Now, that said, when I was a kid, I was not. I literally did not know how to interact with people. I did not understand how to deal with social situations. Not blaming the TISM, but I'm just saying it was a fact. And I believe it was ANCOM, or it might have been, I don't remember who it was that said this, through observation. I literally watched how other people interacted. I watched the positives and the negatives of other people's social situations, and I learned from them. I also spent countless hours talking to myself in a fucking mirror, training myself, learning how to properly enunciate, learning the tempo, the delivery, the things that you were talking about, the nuance to conversation. I spent tons of time practicing that. And that's why I do what I do now, and I can do what I can do now. But there was one other thing, and I don't know for sure if this is still the case, but when I read it the first time, it was the second highest selling book of all time, second only to the Holy Bible, a book by a guy named Dale Carnegie, aka Carnegie Hall, that Dale Carnegie. And the book is called How to Win Friends and Influence People. I recommend every fucking person read this book. I've read it cover to cover at least 4 times. I have given this copy away multiple times. If you guys get your chance, it will help you so much, and you literally can learn how to be charismatic. It teaches you exactly it's a fucking step-by-step. It's the only self-help book I would ever recommend to somebody. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, and it will teach you how to be
It's
charismatic.
unfortunate that he was an evil person.
I agree, but he literally teaches you how to manipulate people. Like that's what it boils down to. How to be a manipulator 101.
I learned the history of him, and I fucking ripped my own eyeballs out. Like, god damn it.
Yeah, no, not a great human being, but he was an absolutely great orator. He was one of the more charismatic, if not one of the most charismatic business people, definitely of his era, maybe in American history. So, hence the reason we all know.
Someone had a 700, had a fucking like 700 person tent. He got a tent that was 701, or something like that. It's just so he could say he had the biggest tent, church tent.
What a
like,
beast!
motherfucker.
checks about right. But anyway, I just wanted to put that out there, that there is literally a how-to book for charisma. So I would say that combined with, as we said, the experiences we have seen from several of our interlocutors here, the development of their charisma and their persuasive skills, I think flies in the face of the idea that it is not something that can be taught. So
yeah, horse radish. I don't think you
I've
were
also
here
learned how
when
to
I was
smile.
talking about it. I'm not sure if you were listening while you were away at the very beginning of this, but
I was not. I walked away immediately. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was a whole thing I was going into. Generally speaking, I agree more with Vigilante, because while I think that there are certain amounts of charisma that one can learn through education, practice, development, there is, and I think charisma is unusually affected by this, there is a natural talent that people can have or lack that influences that ability far more than anything that you might be able to develop through education, practice, etc. Like I compared it, or I said it was akin to athletic ability, right? That is primarily talent. Yes, you need practice, you need to develop those skills, but the cap at which you can, the cap you can get to is a lot higher when you start out with a natural talent, beyond what you can just develop. And that's kind of a lot of, technically both Vigilante and Tyler spoke to this, which is the springboard effect. You start higher, you can get higher.
No, you know what? And perhaps I had an inherent trait that I didn't realize I had as a youth, because there's something else I was going to say that I told you I was going to shut up, but I'm changing my mind now because, fuck, that's what I do. But,
Yep.
Yeah, yap. That's right. Fuck off, Rufus. You're welcome to go ahead and eat the rest of that bag of dicks from earlier. So somebody said something.
The whole bag? You only give me one.
Yeah, well, I know, but Groofus deserves them all. So I will also say, and this is kind of a weird trait about. This is a weird trait about myself. As I've mentioned before on stream, theater was my passion, especially in my youth. I have never once in my life been nervous. Like when people talk about like stage fright and stuff, I don't understand. The first time I pushed go on this, it doesn't faze me. I don't understand why it does some people.
Theater kids.
So
Literally, yes. So that's what I'm getting at, is that could perhaps be part of that natural trait where I have only very, very few fucks to give about what other people's perceptions of me are. I'm doing this for my own entertainment as much as anything, and I just do what I do. If people watch, cool. If you don't watch, cool. And I learned this from a very young age, where I could go in front of the class and talk. I would be the kid that raised their hand and said, "Yeah, I'll read." Like it just never bothered me, never fazed me. So I guess, not everybody requires that training to get comfortable speaking in front of an audience. So I guess that's exactly what you're getting at. So
it could also go backwards as well, because I remember being like that when I was a kid. I didn't get a chance to go into theater because funding, yay. But I always saw
the stage, my friend, and all men and women just players.
Yeah, like I always see myself as a kid because I always wanted the attention. I was the kid. Like, let me read it. Let me do the thing. That got beat out of me.
Fair.
So it can be reversed by accident.
I was about to say, glad you made it back.
I do think that we haven't heard from Vigilante himself. I mean, I feel like we all kind of piled on him a little bit here, like inadvertently, but like I'm very curious on like the retrospect from Vig.
Yeah,
let the man cook. Let them cook.
Rest of the time for this prompt is on you, Vigi.
I mean, on the whole charisma thing, I feel like I misphrased what I meant by that. Because like my whole point was like more so that other people can't really teach it to you. Like it like more so requires practice and you putting in the work yourself than somebody else teaching you how to be charismatic. Somebody can give you the basics of how to be charismatic and how to
Oh,
manipulate
no.
people and shit like that. But it only matters as much as you put the effort into actually learning how to do it and practice it.
Fair. Yeah. Can't disagree with that. Anybody else have any closing thoughts on this prompt before we move on to the next?
We should have some form of a meritocracy. It's unfortunate that it won't happen unless we can get the billionaires to pay their fair share in taxes and put it towards an actual equality of options as well as opportunity.
Hold on. I think that he brought it back perfectly. I want to ask, does everybody here agree that meritocracy is generally good? I do.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay, so
don't have
meritocracy is a broad word. It generally plays out to a technocracy, which is what I think everyone's saying is yes is good, and an aristocracy, which I don't think anyone here would say is good. I don't think we have any pure right wingers.
Why do you say technocracy?
Technocracy is when like experts of like business and different sectors get into government and use their expertise to elevate their position.
I'm not talking about specifically in government. I'm talking about in general. I think the people who have the will to succeed and the people who put in the extra time and the extra effort and have a natural or a taught skill in a thing should be the ones who are generally going to be the ones who rise to the top, as opposed to things like nepotism, preferentiality, et cetera, et cetera. So in general, do you think the person who is most meritorious should succeed over?
Well, that's. I didn't want to take this argument during the debate, but merit also means the cross-generational merit. An aristocracy is considered a version of a meritocracy. You don't like it. You're a left-winger. Technocracy is the left-wing version of it. Aristocracy is the right-wing version of it. Where the most.
Ancom can't talk over us. Socialist, but.
It's the right wing anti-government
it's
stance.
just being used as a slur.
Hold on, everybody.
No, it's not being used as a slur.
I have a particular view on merit that I am probably the only one here who would admit to saying I don't think meritocracy is a good thing because it is based on a flawed understanding of merit to begin with. And that is, and this is an apocryphal quote, but it's often attributed to Einstein, which is, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, so the problem is not merit. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I couldn't remember the last bit, but
wait, what the fuck?
Bit kind of is.
You're critiquing the archetypical hero right now. I could have this argument.
This is also very like this assumes that everybody needs to climb a tree. You live literally in an economy that has comparative advantage where you can spec into multiple different aspects of the economy, so you don't have to. Yeah, the economy is the tree, and I can't code like everybody else is, which is why I can hire a coder to help me with the things that I can do, and I can do better things than what that coder can do in other fields because I spec'd into it. So. Your point doesn't make sense in this.
So you don't understand the
hold on, let Ancom respond. Hang on.
Ancom.
Okay. So you didn't understand what I was saying. My point there is that the ways in which we measure merit are limited by the economic and social systems we have in place, and that there are forms of merit which are not currently rewarded in our system. And if we actually rewarded all merits in the ways in which they contribute, not necessarily to an economy, but to a society in general, then I think we would have a more fair society overall. But I also don't think that a shoemaker should have any extra say in society because of how well he makes shoes. Just as I don't think a business owner should have any more say in society just because he happens to have a good organizational ability. I think that the idea of meritocracy, which is like I'm taking the literal definition of the ocracy suffix, meaning the people
For
who
government
rule
leadership.
society based on merit. I'm not even saying government leadership necessarily. I'm saying societal leadership in general, beyond the government, right? Because we have society. You know, in our current society, we tend to split up leaders, but into 2 or 3 categories: governmental leaders, business leaders, and social leaders. Right? Sometimes that social leader thing isn't included, depending how people say it.
Like I said, I would say thought leaders, but yeah.
Yeah, all of those require some level of charisma, and as I think we've at least pointed out, not everyone has charisma, but everyone, or nearly everyone, I won't go so far as to say everyone, but nearly everyone has some skill, some ability that they can use to contribute to society in a useful way. And just because some people have more abilities and opportunities to exercise and develop those skills than other people, because let's face it, a lot of people spend most of their time just trying to survive. You can't develop your skill set when you are spending all of your time trying to survive. That is what we should be basing this on, and that was my point. The one last thing
I agree with your measurement analysis.
One last thing.
Can I say something?
Let him finish real quick. He's got one more thing. Yeah, go ahead, Ancom. Yep.
One more thing, because I just remembered noting it from the debate, which is Tyler said that equality of opportunity and equality of options is not the same thing, and I disagree vehemently. That is what opportunity is. Opportunity is the set of options in which you have in front of you, and your ability to choose between them because they are available. If you don't have the same level of options available to you, you do not have equality of opportunity, bar none.
I think you're.
I'm gonna kick it to you, Red. I'm gonna kick it to you, Red. I was actually gonna say though, just so everybody knows, I don't want to. I'm going to be creating a prompt about meritocracy. So this is definitely awesome. A different. It's not about wealth, but about. This isn't about meritocracy. This is about merit and wealth. But anyway, go ahead, Red.
I think the quote you were looking for is from Albert Einstein. If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid.
Yeah, that's the quote I went for, and I said it was apocryphally because Einstein, there's no evidence he ever actually said it.
I would like to add to that by agree or disagree, but I think that judging individuals by standardized metrics is could wrongfully put them in a wrong light and take away from their intelligence and worth.
Yep.
Wow, he just summarized Ancom's entire 30-minute rant in a minute. Now that's a skill. This guy, despite what Vigilante thinks, that's a skill.
I will admit brevity is a skill that I do not possess.
And I will also say that explains why Red was able to do his opening in approximately 45 seconds. So, all right, we're going to move on to the next prompt, and we're hopefully going to get a couple of extra words out of Red this time because we're moving on to his prompt. America lacks the moral superiority to interfere in foreign politics. I'm going to put 30 minutes on the clock for this prompt as well. We're going to go ahead and parse this through. So I would like to hear more. I would like to hear the opening you didn't give us, Red. You believe, because there was a lot of holes poked in what you did say, and I feel like you had answers. You were just struggling with how to put your thoughts together and articulate them. So I want to ask this question first. You believe that Europe represents